Hi, everybody. Welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode 160. I am back from the local fair. You are back from work.
Also local.
Also local. You're more local than the local fair. Local fair was
Locals
like 20 minutes away.
Liberally.
Yeah, but your soon-to-be 13-year-old brother and some friends wanted to go to the local fair and wander around and do stuff. So
See, we started when I was soon to be 13.
correct.
And
now that's your brother.
yeah.
Crazy. And so
I win.
we're friends with a bunch of the parents, so we went for dinner and then went and wandered the
Who'd
fair
you
for a
go
bit.
with?
Some place, I forget what it was
Or
called.
Who'd you go with?
Sam, the Hennegers and the Shepherds.
Cool beans.
Yeah, it was good. I don't know. We went to some restaurant that someone looked up, and it was supposedly the best, highest rated restaurant in the town. So it
Sutton.
was okay. Yeah.
I hate Sutton.
Why?
I don't know.
So yeah, we were at the fair.
Decided.
It was fine. How was work? You did a full 8-hour shift today.
7.5.
So did you get your lunch or dinner or whatever break?
It's 7.5, but it was an 8 hour. I was there for 8 hours, but it's a 7.5.
Right. Because
Technically speaking.
you don't get paid for half-hour dinner or lunch. Or
Yeah, when they want to give me an actual 8 hour, then I'd start at 12:30, because then the 30 would be taken off or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That kind of deal.
How was closing today?
No,
Exciting.
I prefer not closing.
I know you do.
I got used. I've had like a string of shifts where I'm not closing. So
And what's the big
nice.
deal today? With the big event today?
it's a basket peaches.
The-
It was corn before. It was like just loose corn.
Yes,
and we were
'cause
just
it's
like piling it out. 'Cause it's
Local
5 for
corn right
$1.
now. Yeah.
We were just piling it out. So I'm glad to not do that at least.
Now it's basket of peaches
Yeah.
are the hot item in the
Yeah.
produce department. Excellent. But what else is today? What is the
We've had our
celebration?
kitten cat for 6 years.
It's a
now.
6-year anniversary of the cat
Being in
invading
this house,
our house.
just doing nothing and getting stuff for it.
That's right. Living the best life possible.
I'm getting her to use the. Anytime I give her treats now, she gets excited. But I just get her to use that treat ball thing now, because now if she wants to
Yeah, it's
treat,
cool.
she has to do stuff.
I tried
for
it today.
So yeah, now when we give her treats, like she actually has to do something for it.
Yes. They roll
So
out of
it's
that little
good.
ball.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow is your mother and I. It's our 17th anniversary tomorrow.
If you say so.
So we're going to go out for lunch somewhere, because tomorrow is, we've talked about it before, our street tends to have some little parties. So tomorrow is chicken and ribs.
I
So
don't know,
you're working
mine's
again,
probably Big Mac and fries.
But
or
you can
something.
come by after. There'll be food left over. So
Yeah, maybe.
we're going to do that for dinner and hang out and pool and whatever else people do. So
Mhm.
if you want to swing by, swing by.
Hmm.
Not mandatory, but then that's about it.
Mm-hmm. I
And
was
then-
gonna say something, then I forgot.
And then anything else going on Sunday? I don't
Nope,
think so.
I was gonna. I forgot.
You had something to banter and then you forgot?
Yep.
I like your Death Triangle shirt today.
Just as death.
I'm in my Brody. Oh, no, I took the Brody Lee.
No, not death. Triclops.
I was wearing Brody Lee at the fair. Now I'm wearing FNS branded merch.
I
'cause I'm
remembered.
pajamas. What?
Shout out to Ghost Jam,
For
because
what?
he actually he contacted us.
No,
Remember
yeah, I
told
know.
You, and then
I'm
he
just setting
also-
you up to explain.
Yeah, and also tagged us in a post, because there's a Swerve shirt that says "What's up, turds,"
Yeah,
and you said I should get that.
you would get that shirt.
I
think.
should get that.
Yeah, yeah. So
It
I don't
says
know.
turds on it. That's funny.
Summer rolls along. We continue
Yeah.
to do stuff. We
I'm
watched a
just-
bunch of wrestling.
Waiting for Fan Expo.
Yeah, next week, right?
No, a couple weeks I think.
2 weeks.
'Cause I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
end
that's
of
right.
Like it's the
2
end
weeks.
of end of
You're
August.
right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, and I've just speaking of watching wrestling, I forgot we haven't watched the Collision main event that we wanted to watch.
And I want to.
The FTR Cole, and it's a couple weeks
And
old now. And
the
then
parking lot brawl too.
and the parking lot brawl, and I haven't watched a Mega Osprey this month yet.
So you're falling behind.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna start out after the news. I think we'll review SummerSlam, right? Because we haven't done that. I know. And then just the regular stuff after that. So AEW Dynamite, some trivia, some Impact, some NXT, some main roster.
Impact.
And Impact, you said no figures this week?
No, I'm just waiting on my Stardust and my Usos.
Right.
Hope that comes soon. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, those will
I
be
feel like I've seen people getting their Usos now, like, 'cause from the pre-orders, but I'm gonna assume you guys pre-order when it was on back order, so I'll probably go later. I'm just, 'cause otherwise I don't know when you would have had a pre-order, but I'm gonna assume you didn't. So
I don't think we pre-ordered. No. It's
no,
probably
I
on
think we
back
back ordered, which would be like I think
Pretty
it's
sure
saying
that's right.
September or something, but that's
That's ridiculous.
That's not.
Come on, ringside.
That's not current. I did want to mention, like, I guess I won't mention it later because it's one thing, but, like, you know those Hasbro style figures?
Yes.
New Japan's got another one because they did Jay White a while ago. They got Takahashi on there.
Oh, yeah?
Like the guy you like.
I do like him.
Yeah.
I just saw he's going to be in the multiverse, I think. Impact.
Yeah.
Tag match?
No, I think
There's also an
in the Bullet Club match.
Junior.
I think he's in that because he's junior, right? So
I swear it was a tag team he was in.
He might have been in. He might be in that Bullet Club one I sent to you, right? Because it's he. Oh, whoops, sorry, that's.
But yes, I do like Takahashi.
No, he's. I think.
What's he up to?
Whoops, I don't see him in anything.
I swear, maybe it wasn't that. I saw him in a graphic somewhere.
I don't know. I didn't
but
see
anyways,
him there.
But yeah, so we'll do all of those things as we usually do, and I guess we'll get started anytime you're ready to get rolling.
Yeah.
All right, so the first thing we'll do, take a look at some of the week's wrestling news and rumors. All right, we'll do a usual check-in with ratings. NXT this week averaged 776,000 viewers, up 8.2%, earned a .23 in the key demographic. Same 3 weeks in a row, consistent, very consistent in the key demo. That matches NXT's highest rating since October 28th, 2021. The good run of NXT continues, and it feels like, as someone watching NXT every week, I know you're seeing bits and pieces here and there. It feels like it's in a new era, right? This is the era of like the third brand, quote unquote, kind of, right? And I think it's actually working a little bit.
I like when they made a third brand at Survivor Series that one time, and that was actually cool.
Yes, they did, but then they never followed up on it, really, right? With much, but
no, but that was still.
But nice. This feels like this is like a demarcation of a new kind of. This is sort of the ratings are in the 700s all the time now with these other people coming down from main roster.
And
this
also
week,
Dana Brooke.
This week it was Rey Mysterio, obviously. So, and then we had Collision got crushed, but there was a reason. So 417,000 viewers.
It sucks.
Down 43.6% and a 0.13 in the demo, down almost 52%. So record low ratings, but this is what happens when you decide to put your show on the weekend. Guess what? They were up against SummerSlam. So not only is it a big sporting event, but it's a wrestling event, so it's going to pull your fans, obviously. So super low numbers, but explained by that. Dynamite then was 846,000 viewers they averaged, which is down 5.4% and earned a 0.29 in the key demo, down 6.5%. First on cable charts in the key demo and third in all of television is what it said. So that sounds good, I guess, even though I don't know why. I always want Dynamite to hit 1 million is my hope for them.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't remember the last time they did, but
it's been a while, but they do every now and then.
Yeah.
What you got? I think I have 4
Clock
other.
A milli.
I might have 4 or 5. Sorry, Clock a milli. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I remember the one YouTube guy he was talking about. I don't remember what he was talking about. It was some YouTube related thing, and he was just saying like clock a milli on that or something.
Yeah.
So
we
want Dynamite to clock a milli.
Sure do. I would like that.
Big news of the week is Bronson Reed is now big.
I knew you were gonna lead with that. That is huge.
No, it's big.
It's big. Because you didn't believe me. I told you on SummerSlam that is his new, and you were like,
"That's so stupid."
You were kind of like, "That's too dumb to be true," but
he's big Bronson Reed now. That's just like the fact you putting the word "big" in your.
We're in the alliteration era as well, right? Dirty Dom, big. Sorry, what's his name already?
Big Bronson Reed.
Big Bronson Reed. We'll see what else there is.
Seth freaking Rollins. Oh wait, no,
that doesn't work. But yeah, it's seems like something somebody finds amusing, so we're gonna see it more.
Well, Shinsuke turned heel, so you could do like, can you call him slimy?
Sneaky Shinsuke. Something like that, yeah. So my first thing, I don't know if it contributed to the match on Saturday, but Roman Reigns apparently got hurt in the SummerSlam match. Now, I got this as of Wednesday, and there was no word on the location or the severity of the injury, and that was Meltzer saying that. So
I don't know if it would really change much considering how he wrestled.
But did he wrestle extra, not to spoil our review of that match, but was it extra plotting because he was hurt? But
I don't know.
It didn't feel
there's no way to know.
No, there is no way to know. But
it's very hard to tell.
We'll talk about that.
Which is almost genius in a way.
I'm counting. I'm going to warn you now when we get to reviewing SummerSlam. I'm almost positive I have nothing for the main event other than saying Jack can just sort of summarize any main points from it, if you remember.
I will do my best, but I probably won't.
Because I think slog is the word that I use in the...
that's a nice word.
Yes.
Slog's a funny word.
But we'll get there. What do you have for news?
The real big news of the week, the New Day returned. I forgot they were gone.
That's also huge news.
Yeah, I legitimately forgot they were gone.
So did
Apparently, Kobe's been injured for like 5 months or something. Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And let me guess. They unveiled a brand new character?
No.
No, exactly the same as they always have
been.
And
they beat a team that you used to like.
Vikings?
Yep.
How did I know?
Because who else?
Did I tag team? First of all, it's an actual tag team, so that's
that's a giveaway.
Narrows it down. Then a tag team I like, that narrows it down. Then clearly a tag team I like that doesn't
they
win.
ruined.
That doesn't win. So that was all roads led to Viking Raiders.
I'm gonna segue because speaking of real tag teams, and I use that with air quotes. Sonya Deville's out with a torn ACL. So the women's tag titles are once again vacant because these titles are cursed and also mean nothing.
Is there a chance? I heard that she even said they're cursed at this point. But anyways, is there a chance?
She was saying they weren't cursed or something.
Is there a chance they just go away?
Nah.
No?
I doubt it. They're just going to
Is there any self-awareness in WWE to go, these are...
Not on that level, no.
True.
That's only the 24/7 title because that meant, like, arguably less than the women's tag titles, which is something.
But it was defended and way more visible.
Not, like, but, like, for a time it was. Yeah, it was definitely more visible. Yeah, this is, like, the third vacancy this year, probably, because,
It's cursed.
Raquel and Liv vacated once. I swear they won the vacant titles too. Or maybe... Was that Raquel and Aaliyah? That might have been last year.
Oh, my God. Toronto's own.
I don't know. In, like, the past year or so, and this year there's been 2 vacancies, but at least in the last year, like, calendar year, there's been, like, 3 vacancies at least, which is just nuts for one title.
Is Aaliyah still with the company?
Yeah, but she doesn't do anything.
And so DeVille was partners with who? Liv?
Chelsea Green.
Oh, Chelsea
Lives
Green.
with Raquel. They beat them for the belts like a few weeks ago.
Right.
I don't know.
And so
she got injured when they were facing Charlotte and Belair. Hopefully that wasn't a title match.
So not that I'm a huge fan of Chelsea Green, but unfortunate because it's either she gets hurt or her partner gets hurt. It seems like on the regular.
Like a bunch of times, yeah. But well wishes to Daria Berenato.
Yep, for sure, Daria Berenato. So FTR, it was Dax, I think, said that
something about CM Punk.
They're hopeful that CMFTR, your favorite.
That's such a
amalgamation.
They're not even born in Chicago.
So he's saying that versus the Elite will happen eventually. And basically, like, summarizing, if everything works out and the money is right, so AKA, like...
Give Punk money.
Enough time passes that they're not so angry and the money's right that they'll do it. And basically, that's how wrestling works, right? And you've also, I think, in AEW, because they have, like, multiple signature big team matches, right? Like, you've got Blood and Guts and
but those
Anarchy
usually
in the Arena.
Consist of more people, so you'd probably, like, throw in Hangman and maybe Ibushi again, but then CMFTR would need people. And who's teaming with Punk? Don't know.
Thunder Rosa? I don't know. But anyways, so
Darby and Sting back.
It's not really a surprise because if there's enough money or interest in stuff, it just happens. So
personally, nah.
Yeah, I don't care.
I'm good enough with Bucks FTR because that can stand on its own legs without the brawl out nonsense from last year. As soon as you throw Punk in there and make it a faction thing, it's gonna become about the thing, and I'm way too much on the side of not Punk to enjoy that.
That is for sure.
Yeah. The most interesting thing I found this week was Triple H is going to be removed from the board of directors when the Endeavor deal closes.
Interesting. I did not hear that.
And he's been on there since 2015, so that's interesting.
Wow.
And the only notable people on there who I recognize are Nick Khan, who we love.
Heard of him.
And Vince.
Yeah.
Hopefully not, given what's happening with him. I've heard, I didn't put in my news, but, like, Bray Wyatt's got a really bad illness. Like, he's fighting for survival right now.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's probably doing better. So hope you could just give it to Vince, though.
I didn't hear that.
Give the illness to Vince, which sounds mean, but it's Vince.
It's true.
So I feel comfortable saying this on the internet.
Yeah, I guess so. Yep. I hadn't heard that about Bray, so that's not bad.
That's why he's been gone for a while. Other than the fact that this character
can't say I've missed him, but
no.
So taking a look at All In, right? I have two things: official matches and rumored matches. So you probably know the official matches. What are they? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on All In.
There's the Swerve and Fox versus Darby and Sting, which should be Nick
Correct.
Wayne.
The coffin match.
Yeah, MJF Cole.
Correct.
The women's 4-way.
Correct. Which is Saraya, Sky Blue, Baker, Bunny.
No, it'd be Saraya. It would be Saraya, Baker. It'd be Saraya, Baker, Storm.
Oh,
Cheetah,
sorry. There's two to be decided.
Yeah, but that's probably what it would be. And then FTR Bucks, and then I guess Cole and MJF Aussie Open if they do the show.
Yes. Okay. So rumored matches then. Jericho Ospreay, obviously. Moxley.
No, thank you.
Moxley, Claudio, Wheeler, Yuta versus Eddie Kingston, Orange Cassidy, and a partner.
That confuses me, but sure.
Yeah, I don't know where that comes from, but also noted Kenny Omega versus Takeshita.
Yeah, that is acceptable to me.
However, to continue, that may end up taking place at All Out with a 6-man tag between Omega, Hangman, and Ibushi versus Takeshita, Jay White, and Juice Robinson for All In.
That is nice.
That'd be all right. We get both of those. Then you get Takeshita Omega at All Out.
No. Here's what you do.
Okay.
You do Ospreay Omega All In, then you do Takeshita Omega All Out. So half yes.
Okay. What else do you have?
Murphy and Ripley got engaged.
I saw that. Congratulations to them.
Beans.
Yep, that's cool.
That's my last thing.
That's your last thing? What do I have for you? Did you see the semifinals for New Japan G1?
I know. Isn't it the quarters?
So the quarters happened yesterday.
Oh, sweet. Is Ospreay in the finals?
So
semis?
Block A winners.
Ospreay.
Block A winner Sonata lost to Evil, who is the second place finisher. So Evil's through.
What the? That's weird.
Block B winner Okada defeated second place finisher from the D block, Zack Sabre Jr. So Okada's in.
Ospreay.
Okada and Evil.
Ospreay.
Finley did lose to, so he won C block. He lost to the second place finisher of B block, Ospreay. So Ospreay's in.
Yeah.
And then D block winner Naito defeated A block second place finisher Hikuleo.
That's the one that confused me.
Good showing for him. I kind of barely saw any G1. I'm not gonna lie. I watched a little bit.
I'm just pulling for Ospreay to win.
So you've got Naito faces Ospreay.
Oh, that's nice.
Okada takes on Evil. I'm not a big Evil fan.
That just seems weird to me.
Yeah. So
he beat the champion.
It feels like it should be
Ospreay. I swear to God,
Okada?
if it's Okada again, I'm going.
But I
to
feel like
punch
Okada
something.
should be Evil. But I don't.
Yeah, obviously, but because I swear he won it last year, and that even was confusing to me.
Yeah.
Because how many things does he need to win?
No.
Stop doing that.
Stop winning the things.
Stop winning the things. Let Ospreay win the thing for once, okay? Ospreay's allowed to win something, okay?
Right.
It's okay for Ospreay to win something. He already beat Okada once, so just have him beat Okada again. Just do that.
The last thing I have is, because I'm not really keeping up with Ring of Honor in terms of watching it, just putting it in the news because I like him. Shane Taylor defeated Gravity in the finals of the TV Eliminator Tournament.
Which had more than 4 people.
Right. So he's got the next shot at Samoa Joe's TV title, and I would actually probably seek out a Shane Taylor Samoa Joe match because that would be an absolute slugfest. So that should be pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
I may check that out if the time comes. But I guess that's it for news and rumors.
Mm-hmm.
And so the first thing we'll do is go back to the pay-per-view from last Saturday, correct? And that was this year's offering of WWE's SummerSlam. All right, so SummerSlam. I have some notes, nothing extensive because I figure most people have watched SummerSlam, but I'll remind you of a few of the highlights and whatnot. Your favorite Kid Rock's involved in the opening, right?
That was weird.
It makes sense. He's a Detroit guy.
Okay.
And he has a history with WWE as well, right? So
at the 25th anniversary.
So we got some Ba Wida Ba,
WrestleMania.
which actually, full disclosure, I liked that album back in the day. But anyways, I don't think Kid Rock's a dude I would care to hang out with at this point, but I did like that album.
So he's an adult?
Yeah, he is an adult. He's definitely adult rock at this point.
Kid.
Opening match, we start out with Logan Paul taking on Ricochet. This was sort of touted as basically two super athletes, right? Looking to outshine each other. And I thought they did a really good job of pretty much just that, to be honest. So 18 minutes, excellent pace, lots of high-flying stuff. And again, man, not what I want to say, but Logan Paul, we talked about it at the time,
aside
continues
from like
to be very
polishing
impressive.
some things, which is what I noticed, and I noticed that since like the first time, just the way he does certain things is just kind of janky and unpolished. But generally speaking, he's very good.
Like the amount of times, the amount of experience he has, and how good he is. Yes, there's certainly things he needs to polish up on, but he's good. Unfortunately,
it's just the polishing, right?
Yep.
And that's the only thing that's drawing to me, but like, that'll come hopefully.
So he hit a neck breaker on the apron that looked cool. Remember, Ricochet was sort of, I think, hanging over the bottom rope or middle rope. Anyways,
I just remember the hurricane neck breaker that Ricochet did that I've never seen or heard of before.
It's coming up actually, and I know where it came from.
I don't know. I'm gonna assume Hurricane Helms.
Correct. Who was a producer on this match apparently. So it was like an homage. Okay. Yeah. You had Logan Paul. Good heel work, right? Like yelling at the ring announcer, her name is
Samantha Irvin.
Thank you. And also Ricochet's fiance, and he also at one point gets a bottle of Prime from someone in the crowd, right?
As one does.
So Logan Paul did some tributes to other wrestlers in there, right? He did a Strowman Power Slam because he was partners with Ricochet.
That's one of the things that looked a little weird to me.
He also did a Hogan Slam and a leg drop at one point.
No, that was a Nikita Lyons one. Okay,
that's true. It was the extra like splits on it.
That's what made me laugh. Like that is Nikita Lyons.
They did a spot where they tried to Spanish Fly off the apron member and both land on their feet. They didn't quite.
It went better than Money in the Bank did, though.
It did. Okay. No one got hurt, but they wanted to land on their feet. It was still pretty close, though.
Mm-hmm. There's a standing Spanish Fly on the floor after that. That looked like a little weird, but like in a good way kind of thing.
Yeah. Paul hit a buckshot basically off the apron, right, to the floor. That looked pretty good, honestly. The Hurricane neckbreaker, as you mentioned, and I had apparently Hurricane Helms produce this match. And then remember this spot, just because I liked how quickly the counters happened, where Paul comes off the ropes with a moonsault. Ricochet catches him, which was impressive, first of all. And then as Ricochet is about to counter with something, Logan Paul counters into a nice DDT, all in like rapid succession. I thought that looked really good. You had Ricochet selling his midsection, and you get Logan Paul getting his knees up on a shooting star to sort of add into that. And then Ricochet misses the 630, right? The referee goes to check on him, and we're pretty much a week away. Has it been revealed who this dude was?
It's probably just one of Paul's boys.
That hands Paul brass knuckles, even though he already has a metal hands or whatever. Whatever the story.
Titanium thing in his
curse
hand.
These metal hands.
Yeah.
If anyone gets that reference, they win a prize from me. If you get the curse these metal hands. So he ends up clocking Ricochet with the brass knuckles, wins, and does the very like 80s hiding he did a good job of like angling himself away from the referee and dropping the knuckles in his tights and stuff. So that was good.
And he got Samantha to announce his name.
Right.
And my favorite part was, remember, Michael Cole was like, great match, but the ending sucked.
He did right away.
It was so funny.
It was kind of like he was a reviewer of it going.
It was just funny the way he said it. Cause it just like,
very
it was just
blunt.
Plain and simple. Yeah. It reminded me of like, Andy's like, this food is bad.
This food tastes bad.
That ending was bad.
So I know some people didn't like the finish, but it didn't bother me much because it's Logan Paul cheating, right? It seems on brand for him, but I really liked this match. I thought it was a really strong start to the show.
It's a smart opener.
This was in my top 3 matches on the night, and I think even Ricochet gains something in a loss here, right? I don't think it really hurts him.
He gains something from just being in a solo spot on
a really good
PLE
opening match
for the first time in like years.
Right.
I don't think he did that when he was freaking Intercontinental Champion.
And now that Logan Paul has embraced being a heel and the company is doing that, he's really good.
That's one of the things is he was insufferable in the promos with Roman because he was trying to be a good guy. And the one lucky shot thing I hated it.
So I really enjoyed this match. I thought it was a very strong opener, and I had no issues with it really.
As far as main roster stuff goes, it was very good.
Right. Yeah, I don't know how strong the story was going into it because I wasn't really paying attention. But
it's basically just like they did the thing at the Rumble, they did the thing at Money in the Bank, and then it's just kind of snowballed.
Like it was one of those matches where the highlight package they'll throw together for that match will look really good, right?
And then you remember the thing that Ricochet did in the feud of Velveteen Dream, where Velveteen's like, Anthony, you can do better, and then he ran and flipped over the ropes and landed on the ramp.
Landed on the ramp. That looked awesome.
He did that again.
That did look cool.
Yeah, he did that with Paul.
Nice. So very happy with this show after the first match. Then we roll into, and I'm not going to talk about whatever because full disclosure, we don't watch this live, and we basically skip all the stuff in between matches, right? Because I don't need to see any of that. It's like a 4-hour show, so we kind of pare it down. So straight into the next match, we got Cody Rhodes taking on Brock Lesnar. And so this was Brock, right, with a bunch of suplexes and F5s, both in the ring and on the floor, even through a table at one point. You got Cody with disaster kicks, Cody cutters, multiple crossroads. The turnbuckle gets removed. Do you remember if it was intentional? I think Cody was holding on to it and got
something like that.
Right. We get Kimuras by each man, right? Cody ends up applying one to Brock as well. And then, like, I like this match. I did. But my nitpick, remember, I talked about it in the moment, was how Brock kept destroying Cody out on the floor and then would just go in the ring and wait for a count out. And to me,
he did it like 7 times.
Brock Lesnar's not the guy that's going to just, like, A, try to win by a count out, and B, like, just...
I feel like if he was, though, then he would just kill Cody. Like, he wasn't...
Right.
He would just absolutely kill him, you know?
Not just hit a move, go in and wait. Go hit another one and go in
hit him
and
with
wait.
like 5 moves, throw him everywhere, and then leave him outside to rot.
So that was a bit annoying. I don't think that does anything for Lesnar. It's kind of out of character for him. I'm sure it helps Cody in his resilient babyface role here. But anyways, 3 crossroads. 2 of them I didn't think looked great. And it's over after almost 18 minutes. And then according to Triple H, who knows if you believe it or not, they went off script here, right? And Brock got literally forehead to forehead with Cody, but then ended up shaking hands and raising Cody's hand.
Oh, we didn't mention his ripped shorts either.
And he did rip his shorts, and you did.
I saw someone say...
Harkens back to your favorite SpongeBob.
Yeah. I saw someone saying he should just go back to the trunks now that his shorts disintegrated.
It exploded. I thought this was a really good match as well. Another one of the top 3 on this card. Not quite an epic match, though. Brock did look dominant throwing Cody around. Cody looked resilient with sporadic flurries along the way. But and this is me, right? It's coming through my bias, my filter of Cody. I still feel like, if this makes sense, he emotes about 25% more than the situation calls for. And it annoys me, right? He's just
I think at times,
a little bit over the top, a little bit more than the situation requires.
Just to really sell it.
And it grates on me. But I enjoyed this match. I thought it was good. And do you think, what is the post-match stuff? I feel like it's indicating Brock's going to be gone for a while again.
Maybe. That would make sense.
Because I don't know why else he's doing that.
He went off script with that too. Yeah,
apparently.
Right? So, I mean,
if you believe
it's not.
Triple
It doesn't
H.
really matter if he did or not.
No,
but because it's all the same.
My best guess is he's gone for another stretch.
Yeah, I thought it was solid. It's just I wish there was some stipulation on it, and not just Brock trying to get a count out, because he's capable of having really good matches still. Because like he's had really great matches against guys of more similar stature to Cody, like the Rollins match from SummerSlam 2019 was really awesome. The AJ Styles match he had was awesome. The Balor match was awesome.
Yep.
So I don't know. I feel like they could have done something better with like all 3 of these matches. I feel like they followed more so the short Brock match style that he tends to do.
It wasn't super. And 18's a good chunk for Brock.
This one was longer, yeah. But I feel like it could have been more actual good match wrestling and not count out stuff.
Yeah.
The Bryan one was good too. I forgot about that when he was new Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like they could have done better with this. I thought it was still solid, but
I quite liked
think they could have done better with it.
Yeah, I think in general, I liked SummerSlam a bit more than you, but we'll see by the end.
It's just really hard to get into the main roster style still, even when it is good. I do like when it's not bad,
but there maybe the most exciting thing for people is there's a match on this show that I close to loathed, like really, really didn't like, and it bothered me in the moment and stuff. We'll get there. But the next match is the Slim Jim SummerSlam Battle Royal that we've all been waiting for. So we were annoyed because JD McDonough was thrown out like a jobber.
Literally second, and he just got tossed by Omos.
It was him. Boogs was after him.
Cruz was first.
Right. Then McDonough.
He threw Cruz, and then he threw McDonough on him.
So just so Omos could look good. Yeah, it was very annoying.
And it's just like, I hate that because JD McDonough's awesome, and we've always loved him. Jordan Devlin, McDonough, whatever. He's awesome.
He is.
Second, Omos sucks. He sucks.
Correct.
Big balls.
That is correct.
Horrible. 3, every time in a Battle Royal, he throws out a bunch of people who don't deserve that, and they're always like, "Oh, how are they gonna get rid of him? And how he can't get eliminated? He's so big." And it happens every time.
Yep.
I can guarantee you, that they did that in the Rumble this year with near certainty, and I don't even remember if that's true or not. And I would be willing to bet they did it in the last Rumble too.
Yeah, it's a trope. For
like
sure.
They probably did it in the SummerSlam Battle Royal or sorry, the Survivor Series one. Actually, no, he won. No, he didn't win that. Did he win that? I don't know. Yeah, he won that. Never mind. That was the one time where he didn't get eliminated, I guess. But they do that every time, and it's so dumb because A, nobody cares. B, he gets thrown out anyways. They're always like, "Oh my god, it takes X amount of people." And it just happens every time.
Yeah, I thought Ciampa got a little bit of shine, which was nice. Like he hit the Willow's Bell on Nakamura and eliminated him, right? So that's good. He'll be doing something at least. Then, as you said, everybody works together to eliminate Omos.
I think Gable got a bit too, right?
Yeah, he did.
So good for him. I like Gable.
And then Miz and Waller just serendipitously kind of end up working together and kind of made a fun little. It was a fun little connection, right?
I've seen people talking about that, yeah.
Because it was a rolling stunner, skull crushing finale,
which kind of works.
Yeah, and then they're kind of like just took a shine to each other. And then the final three ended up being LA Knight, AJ Styles, and Sheamus. And then, so you get Cross has already been eliminated, but
your favorite hairdo,
right? I thought he looked. I don't know. It looks strange to me.
I think I don't hate him with hair because I think it looks better than he was bald now. But I think when he came back, he had like a short slick back hair, which in hindsight I think looks better because I just assumed he had the same, but I think that looks better.
I feel like he's in between. He's on his way to longer hair, and this is what he's got right now.
I don't want him with longer hair.
But so he ends up holding AJ's boot as AJ's on the apron. Sheamus then hits a brogue kick and eliminates AJ Styles. So we're down to Sheamus and Knight. Knight, I guess he had botched it the night before, but he does the leap up to the top. It looked impressive here and superplexes Sheamus, remember? And then clotheslines him over the ropes. This was pretty quick, man, and maybe that's why I didn't dislike it. I
didn't hate it. It was fine.
It was only 12 minutes.
And it had decent star power, actually. It wasn't just like a bunch of jobbers in there and a few.
I said inoffensive and held my attention.
Yeah.
It wasn't too long.
It's good the LA Knight one, I guess, but just you're going to give him
because
you're going to give him this win instead of something meaningful.
Yeah, that's true. There is.
Yeah, I think I nailed everything except the women's match.
I didn't like the treatment of McDonough. Everything else was fine.
That really bothered me.
Knight winning makes total sense. It's just
there was another elimination that bothered me too. It might have been Gable, but I don't remember.
It is too bad it was not for anything, really, right? Yeah. But and Battle Royals, listen, they can be cluttered, boring messes. This one wasn't.
It was solid.
That was something.
It also bothered me that Theory was in here because, why wouldn't you have him defend the U.S. title on
Get him
the
a payday,
show
brother.
Against Escobar? Because that would be pretty good. Instead of what they did tonight with the U.S. title, which I will get to because it was horrendous.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait. I don't know, so you'll be educating me.
Yeah.
Then we get your favorite match of the year, I think. MMA rules.
I mean, I got the desired winner, so it might be my favorite.
Shayna Baszler versus Ronda Rousey. The only way to win this is by knockout or submission. No pinfalls or rope breaks. So it's kind of weird because it's MMA rules, but it's kind of not MMA rules all at the same time. And I don't think the general public know what the rules were, or maybe the people in attendance. Anyways, there's takedowns and leg kicks early. I actually thought Shayna's kicks to Rousey's leg looked good early.
Yeah, Shayna kicks good.
And then somewhere in the middle, Baszler's arm is hurt and medical personnel are checking on her. I did think there's a couple highlights. Baszler landed a really nice kick to the head.
And Rousey hit a knee.
That step-up knee looked awesome, I thought.
That's one of Baszler's moves in 2K that I used, actually.
And the rest of it was kind of forgettable. I don't think it was terrible. And then you got
a no, it's like a step of form. Sorry, my bad.
It's okay. Kirifuda clutch, and Baszler has Rousey pass out, right, which is a technical submission after 7 minutes and 30 seconds. So Baszler picks up the win.
Baszler won something.
She did.
Yeah.
Just too bad I don't know how much this matters either. The crowd was not into this. Neither was I. I don't think anyone wanted to cheer for Rousey, right? They don't. Wrestling fans don't generally pay to watch.
Which sucks because then.
Non-wrestling either.
Yeah, which it sucks because then people start cheering Baszler. And I love Baszler. I don't want her to get cheered.
Because she's not supposed to be right now.
And I like her as a bully.
Yeah. I was hoping that she would get more from Rousey on Ronda's way out the door, but it doesn't feel to me that this does much for Shayna, and I like Shayna too.
Yeah.
I thought this was one of the low points of the show. Unfortunately, the women's division did not have a great night. I did not think.
No, they did not. This was one of the low points for sure. I did not love it.
No.
It was about as good as I would have expected, I guess, because I wasn't really
and they
expecting
kept
much.
It short.
And they kept it short enough, which makes it somewhat inoffensive, but it was also pretty not good.
Yep. We then go into the Intercontinental Championship match, and that is Gunther.
At least one mid-card title got on here.
With a really long run right now, defending against Drew McIntyre, kind of returning.
It's funny. I was just
injury.
watching, so Cultaholic, one of the channels I watched, they got like a lot of the like those kind of mini documentary series where they got one for like True Story of Blank.
Yeah.
There's Rise and Fall ones, and then there's War Stories, which is mostly Monday Night Wars, but one of them is Wednesday Night Wars.
Yeah.
Anywho, I started watching they got behind the match because I've gone through all the other ones.
Yeah.
Of the various series, and so anyways, I was watching one on my break. It was about the WrestleMania 4 tournament.
Yeah.
And he was just talking about like how Honky Tonk Man, like, because obviously they're talking about like the build up to that, and it was Honky Tonk related, and how he had like his reigns unchallenged, and it's not something that they'll likely ever reach again.
Yeah.
And here we are.
He might do it.
Yeah, because I think that video was like a couple years old or something.
So as you would expect, tons of chops throughout this. Drew gets suplexed on the steps at one point. Drew no-sells a German suplex, fires up for a stiff clothesline.
I always liked, you remember, I think he did it in NXT a couple times. I think he did it once to Rude and Roddy. He did like Drew would. He did it to like, he would do the sidewalk slam.
Wow. Forgot about him.
He would do the sidewalk slam on the stairs.
Yeah, I did like that.
That was really cool.
Yep. Drew with 2 impressive belly-to-belly overheads. We get a powerbomb, a future shock combination for a near fall. Then we get Gunther with a powerbomb splash combination for 2. Gunther kicks out of a Claymore, which was impressive. They both get up top. Drew gets pushed off and crotched. We get a top rope splash and another powerbomb, and Gunther retains after almost 14 minutes. Good, but not great, right? Felt like there was like 5 to 8 minutes of this missing somewhere. Yeah. I was really...
kind of like the Riddle one. It was like, it felt like a little short of...
Yes, I thought this was better than that, but similar...
I think the Riddle one fell shorter, but
no Riddle,
literally maybe, but
no Gunther match is going to be bad, right?
No.
But this, like, I would really thought this had the chance to just be kind of like Sheamus Gunther was, right?
Yes.
That's kind of where I was hoping, but
it didn't
nowhere
reach
near
that level. No,
but I didn't think it was bad.
I think it was good, but I think it suffers from missed potential.
Yes, I agree.
But yeah, so I thought it was solid, but they could have done better with that.
Yeah, I thought it was a good match. It wasn't in my top 3, but I thought it was a solid match for sure. Then we get what I think was my match of the night, probably. That was World Heavyweight Championship match with Seth Rollins.
I think so.
Defending against Finn Balor. I really like this.
I have paid attention to a lot of things, so I forget.
Balor, who has painted 7 years on his shoulder, right? It's kind of funny that they're going like 7 years in the making when they've wrestled like 19
they've wrestled,
times.
A, they wrestled last month on Money in the Bank. B, they wrestled the month before that in the World Heavyweight Title Tournament. They wrestled last year when Balor was U.S. champion for a bit. Do you remember that? No, you don't.
They've been teamed up for some too, I think I saw.
They've teamed up for some things. They had the triple threat at Mania 34 when Rollins was Intercontinental champion. They had a match or two because I remember they had like Balor countered the Falcon Arrow thing with a small package, which he might have done here too. And then they teamed when Balor came back from said injury, post Mania 33, and then obviously the SummerSlam match.
7 years in the making.
They've faced off a bunch of times, and then Rollins also had the SummerSlam 16 Tron vest.
Yeah, he did. That was cool.
That was really cool. I thought, because he does a lot of troll jobs, and I like that it works even when he's a face, because he did that when he was heel.
That injury and that move that caused that injury was in this match as well, right? Like we had buckle bombs and in the
Money in the Bank match,
yeah,
I think, and it was definitely in the tournament match they had. So this is not like, I wish they kind of had saved the callbacks for this match because it would have been more interesting. Cause it's like, I already saw Balor do this to him on Raw whenever that tournament was.
I did like that Balor was relentlessly attacking Seth's shoulder, right?
Yeah,
so he's going after Seth's shoulder.
I noticed Rollins' gear had like the lines with the circles on it too, so it looked like the gear definitely was like kind of some sort of summer thing, I feel like, because I don't think it was a direct reference to anything, because he's done like Deadpool or Thanos or whatever. Obviously the Thanos one is awesome, but
obviously
whatever. Anyways, I noticed there's like the lines with like the circles, kind of like the Tron vest. Like it looked like it was kind of reminiscent of that, which was interesting. But yeah.
Balor's mouth gets busted open at some point, and then
I feel like that's happened to him before. When did that? I think it might have been the O'Reilly match, I want to say.
Could be.
Or was it the first O'Reilly match or the second one? Because didn't his jaw get like stapled or whatever?
Yes.
That's what it was. That's what I'm thinking of.
He had his jaw wired shut at some point.
That's what it was. And then O'Reilly got like kicked in the gut.
So we do get buckle bombs. We get a frog splash from Rollins for 2. Damian Priest shows up, and I thought this kind of kicked in the crowd's energy a little bit even more. Not that they weren't into it already. And then you had Rollins kick out of a pedigree. There were some nice near falls here. And then Priest kind of calls for Dominic and Rhea to come running out, and they do. Balor ends up arguing with Priest because he wanted Balor to use the briefcase as a weapon. Rollins takes advantage.
And Balor's like taking it as a cash in or something. Or like, I don't know, something like that.
And Rollins takes advantage, hits a stomp for a near fall. Rollins jumps onto Priest on the floor, kicks Dominic before stomping him out on the floor as well. Back in the ring, Balor hits a sling blade and his shotgun dropkick into the turnbuckle in the corner, and he hits the coup de grace for a pretty believable near fall there. That was, I thought, really well done.
Yeah, because you're dummy who picked Balor.
I did. Priest puts his Money in the Bank briefcase into the ring, distracts the referee, and Rollins just kind of pops up, hits his stomp on Balor onto the briefcase. Seth Rollins retained after almost 19 minutes, and I thought this was really good. And like I said, my match of the night, the 7 years in the making thing is a bit of a stretch, but I like.
Yeah, I wish they hadn't like done it so many times before, so that maybe that would have meant something.
Right.
But obviously that's not their fault for not planning. It's just I wish either that it could have been a big deal or that they didn't make it such a big deal, because obviously like years ago they wouldn't be planning for this, right?
Yes.
So I wish they wouldn't like put so much emphasis on it when
it didn't help.
Like, you know what I mean?
But what did help was that this was one of the few matches on the show where I wasn't sure who was going to win, right? So I was
I was sure.
I got into more of the near falls. I thought that was really good. The involvement of Priest and the dynamic that he brought, like, is he going to help Finn? Is he just going to do nothing and wait and cash in on whoever it is? Is he going to get involved and cause more damage? Like, he added a dynamic, I think, that was helpful as well. I think it was my favorite match between these two. Hard to say, though, but I thought a really strong match. My favorite match on the show.
Yeah, I don't really remember any other matches between them, so I guess I'll agree with that statement. I don't remember anything significant about the other one, so I guess that tracks.
I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I thought it was really strong. Again, for a main roster match, I have to
qualify.
Preface that, because it's just, I don't know, it's a different thing. So, but yeah, I thought it was really good. Some of the near falls were good, but I'm smart, so I knew who was winning anyways.
Right. Of course you
spoilers would. Aside, I just knew because I'm better than you.
Because you just like Seth Rollins.
No, Balor wasn't getting it, bro. But yeah, I thought the stomp on the briefcase was cool. Dom sold the stomp pretty solid.
Yep.
I like Rollins' gear. It was cool. Balor's pants looked better than usual with the white on the end. That was nice. He should still go back to the trunks though. Just saying.
I don't notice. I don't even have a clue who
I
or
still
what.
stand by that, because most of the time that's one of the things you just forget about. But I'm gonna stand by that.
I will forget.
He still looks better with the trunks. But yeah, this was good. It was probably the best one.
I think so.
I don't know. It's hard to think.
Immediately followed by the worst one.
It was a little while ago, and also main roster.
Then we move into a match that Jack and I have not audibly complained during a match this much in quite a long time.
I think I was actively just trying not to pay attention.
This was the Women's Championship. Asuka, Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, with Asuka defending. I think all three of these women are excellent professional wrestlers. I am
sports entertainers.
A fan of two of them. But this match was rough, man.
Sucked.
I don't. The first few minutes felt really rehearsed, and like they were almost going through the motions, and the crowd was dead.
The crowd was so dead.
Probably not done any favors by following one of the better matches on the card for sure, but like this, I don't know. It felt like uninspired, rehearsed.
Yeah,
inorganic. Like I was very aware that this was people pretending to have a fight rather than just forgetting that and enjoying it. I don't know what was going on.
That's how I feel about that one scene from Last Jedi. Where Kylo and Rey are fighting the Praetorian Guards.
Yeah,
like that one feels super contrived to me. To like they're just going from like thing to thing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it's exactly like this, because like there's like the Anakin Obi-Wan duel in Revenge of the Sith. Obviously, that's heavily choreoed, but that doesn't feel like contrived and staged to me, because it's the story's better. B, it's just like the choreo's insane in that, right?
Yeah.
But this reminds me, or like the way you're talking about at least reminds me of that Last Jedi scene, because it's so contrived and it feels staged, and it kind of takes me out of it.
It just felt
it's
like
one of the things I don't like about the sequels.
Paint
Obviously.
by numbers. Like we do this and then we do this and then we do this.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then there's also like, remember there was the weak tumbling attack from Flair into the corner that looked really bad.
Yeah, it was literally like something Dana Brooke would do.
It was multiple times where people are wriggling into position on the mat
for like a double move.
Yeah, to take something. Lots of communication going on between people was evident. Remember there was like a wardrobe malfunction, and so Belair.
Oh yeah,
it was Flair. So,
right.
Belair and Asuka had to stay like stacked up in the corner and wait and do nothing.
That
and
looks
Belair
so
sort of walked into that too. Remember?
Yeah, because she got put down.
Whatever the move was, like she just hopped up. I want to
say it was the follow slam or something.
She just stood up and walked to the corner, right?
I'm like, yeah, she didn't even get put there.
There was a double natural selection that I didn't think looked very good.
The dumbest thing, and I don't really know the order of this, so I'm just going to mention, but the dumbest thing was, because you said something about a bad double move being Natty's double sharpshooter.
Yes.
And I was like, she better not do a double figure.
She did.
And then she attempted that.
Yeah.
The first she tried to do it where like they're beside each other, and Belair's leg just bends the wrong way. Not to like an injury kind of thing, but just like, why would you think that would work? And then I don't know if she tried it again, but it was just a horrible idea.
And then Belair's selling an injured knee, right? And she gets shoved off and hits the steps. It actually looked pretty good. The camera angle didn't perfectly catch it, to the point where she's kind of being helped to the back, right? So it looks like, oh no, she's out. I wonder what could possibly happen. So yeah, Flair then whiffs on the natural selection here. Asuka doesn't get all of it from commentary on a DDT. And this is where you and I are, again, looking at each other like, what is going on here? I don't understand.
It's so, like, staged, but also messy at times.
Like. Yeah. That's funny you say that, because in one of my things I said we'll get there, but that's basically what I say. That combination is hard to do, and they did it here, right? The crowd starts to get into it because Belair is coming back from the injury, and she actually hits a couple nice spots here at the end, right? She hits a 450 onto Flair, who has Asuka in the figure eight. That
was cool, yeah.
The only, again, I'm going to nitpick, it still looked awesome, is that Charlotte Flair is watching her the whole time, like climb up and set up for it and holds. But yeah. And then you have Flair applying the figure eight to Belair a little bit after that. And then Asuka comes back, right, to spray mist into Flair's face.
That. I thought
good.
That was cool.
And again, Flair watches it coming, but it happened a bit quicker. So
yeah, I thought that was cool because it's a cool way to do that.
So Belair grabs Asuka, hooks her for the pinfall off of the mist.
That was really dumb because it looks like a bad pin. Because bear in mind, she's still trapped. Her legs are still trapped with Flair.
Yes.
So she's not really like able to put her all into the pin. So it just makes Asuka look kind of dumb.
Yes, it was. Sorry, yawning. 21 minutes. Best part, one of the highlights of the show for me and a lot of people, I think, Io Shirai does come out and just quickly hits Belair a few times with the case, right? I liked how cleanly she did it. There was no hemming and hawing. I'm going to attack you with the case, cash it in, moonsault, it's over. She pins Bianca, and Io Sky is the new champion. Damage Control show up to celebrate with her. That was cool.
Mm-hmm. And good for Io, obviously.
Couple cool spots to finish the match and a cool aftermath. But man, this...
The Money in the Bank cash is the best part of this whole ordeal.
So there's what you said before. Somehow this felt paint by numbers and rehearsed, yet sloppy all at the same time. Right? So...
They rehearsed the whole thing, and then some parts they messed up.
Just something really off. Again, keenly aware that this was three people pretending to fight. Slow, low impact. Final few minutes were better with some nice near falls, but just incredibly disappointing. And I honestly was annoyed by this. I just didn't like it at all. I have listened to other podcasts, and there were a couple that feel pretty strongly in the same direction as us, which is nice to see. But some people thought this was good. It makes
I completely disagree.
It's on my list of things to revisit when we're doing end of the year, like worst stuff. Front runner based on who's involved and the fact that this is SummerSlam and this is one of the big pay-per-views,
it's arguably like, unless it's something really bad with random people, but it's pretty bad if it's these three.
I just don't understand. I would love to have been a fly on the wall when they go backstage through Gorilla. And like when they talk to each other after, they had to know, I think.
I feel like
they're experienced and they're good and they've had good matches. They know that this was a dud.
I think this retroactively hurts my opinion on Tyson Kidd because he did this match. So I think you have to start considering him as a lesser wrestler.
I feel
now.
like it, without obviously knowing, I know I'm just a podcaster speculating, feels like they overplanned for the first, like, I don't know, 5 to 8 minutes. Felt like it was just autopilot to me. I did not enjoy it, if you can't tell. Okay, so final match, main event.
Oh, yeah.
Tribal combat for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship.
Before we talk about anything,
Roman Reigns, Jey Uso.
People talk about it, or I saw some guy post about it. And it's tribal combat. It's no disqualifications, anything goes, but no one can interfere. So just do it that way you will.
That's the actual rules.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, so it's like honor system. Hey, you shouldn't interfere. We won't disqualify you if you do, but please don't.
Well, it's
stop, or we'll say stop again.
It's probably like some, like tribal thing. Like it'll be like they'll get reprimanded by
the elders.
The elders, yeah, which I don't think is gonna.
Don't want that.
I don't think that's gonna happen anyways.
But yes, so again, I did not take notes on this. This was, oh my god, this was slow. This was slow, man, and
it was slower than Roman Reigns usually is.
The way that Balor and Rollins was helped by me not knowing who was going to win, I thought there was like almost zero chance it wasn't Roman. So
and that's not always a problem because we say that on AEW. That's not always a problem, right? And I don't think it's a problem because I think we always knew Roman was going to win the first 2 times these guys,
right? But
those matches were a lot better.
And when
especially Hell in a Cell, when I remember liking,
it's not like when he faced Cody. It's not like when he faced Sammy.
Yeah,
there's a different feel here.
I mean, I never thought Sammy was going to win, but that was still great.
I
definitely thought Cody was going to win.
I think with Sammy, I was like, maybe, there's a 25 or 30% chance.
I thought everyone was getting a little too hyped on it, and like I was like, yeah, Sammy's doing stuff, but they're not going to go that far. But it was still awesome, obviously. This was different.
So, I don't know if you remember, was there any major spots? I know Solo Sikoa gets involved.
Spinning Solo through a table.
Right.
Or not precariously, but like suspiciously placed in the crowd.
Mm-hmm. With like a cable on it, and like a full-on table with.
There was a table at ringside, and I don't remember how that factored in.
And then the big
Jay put Solo through the announce table. There's a table in the corner, but that's for the finish.
Talk about the finish if you want, whenever you want to get there.
So
I don't remember.
Jay did something to Roman.
Cool.
Probably a splash.
Yeah.
Maybe a super kick. I don't know. But point is, he's pinning Roman. Jimmy pulls him out.
It was a splash, I think.
Someone in a hood and a bandana pulls Jay out of the ring.
Mystery.
And then he takes his hood off. So it's someone who's probably Samoan in a black bandana with braids in their hair. So you're following the story so far. And it's Jimmy Uso. I know. I didn't expect that either.
So he robs his brother of.
He kicks him in the face, and then Roman spears him through a table in the corner, which looked kind of cool.
And it was over.
And that was it.
36 minutes?
That's ridiculous.
That's bordering approximately 12 of it being people walking around.
That's bordering on
crowd brawl as well.
It's bordering on almost as long as Ospreay Omega 2, and that's like 100 times better, and I'm half exaggerating.
100 times better is probably correct. Yeah. I don't know. An absolute slog was my first note here. Reigns' style can be hit and miss, right? If the storyline's good and the drama's actually there, this can work, but this was not the case. This was a huge miss. Again, I didn't think there's any chance of a title change. There's just no drama. Really slow pace. The sheer length of pushing 40 minutes. You get a main event that I did not enjoy. Yeah. I felt like I was just trying to survive it, right? And get to the end of it.
Yeah.
And okay, we get it. Roman wins.
On the surface, the finish is really confusing, but I think that's something salvageable depending. The finish, I think, will
feels like just musical chairs, though, a little.
Yeah. The finish, though, I think it is kind of weird. And at first, I was kind of annoyed with it, but it's one of those things where I think it will either retroactively be worsened or helped, depending on what happens next.
Yeah.
Because they can totally make that a great thing. And based on the clips I've seen, I think that is what they're doing.
I'm experiencing some bloodline fatigue. I'm not.
However, I still think the match sucked.
It was not good.
And that sucks because, like I said, the first 2 matches between these guys were pretty good.
Yeah.
Considering the Roman style and considering the sports entertainment style. But this is not that.
And they use the same formula they've been using for months, but just
they
no execution.
Too ambitious with it. Like, it was working. The Roman formula worked well enough for the matches, so they got a little too ambitious and went 36 minutes.
It was too much.
Like, yeah, it was definitely too much.
Overall thoughts on the show? I was cruising through it. Partly thanks to fast forwarding stuff between matches, but really enjoying myself. I could even have forgiven the Baszler Rousey match, and Drew and Gunther kind of under delivering, but still being good. But then the final 2 matches hit, and it just like came to a screeching halt for me. But I thought both of them were rough for different reasons. One, well, the women's match I talked about, and the main event just being too slow and not dramatic enough. But I thought we got 3 really good matches.
Mm-hmm.
1 good match, a passable battle royal, kind of a weak MMA, and 2 bad championship matches to end. So early on, I was like, man, this show's going to be a high B or a low A, but I'm going to give it a B. I'm going to let it have a B still, because I did enjoy the first, 2/3 of this show. And then when it's really supposed to deliver, and that's usually the thing, like the big matches are pretty good usually.
And the Jay Roman thing is
just
was
went
such
off
a
a
huge
cliff
deal.
Yeah.
Right? And the women's match was just garbage.
So I still let it have a B, because I did like some stuff, but man, were those last 2 matches rough. You?
Let me think. Okay, so Paul Ricochet,
Really good.
really good. What was next?
Cody and
Brock,
Lesnar. I thought that was
good
good.
enough.
Enjoying the show at this point.
Battle Royal,
Fine.
as good as it was gonna be.
Yeah, no problem.
MMA thing, fine-ish.
Yeah, like whatever. It was. I didn't love it, but it was 7 minutes, so the show's rolling.
Gunther
Drew.
Gunther Drew, good but underwhelming.
Yep.
Balor Rollins,
Good.
stellar.
Very good.
Women's match,
Brutal.
garbage. That makes me want to punch myself.
Main event.
Go through a closet
Boring.
door. Main event, far too long,
Just a
and
grind.
makes me want to watch Ospreay Omega back to back, which would be twice as long as this, but also twice as better.
Even more than twice.
Okay, 3 times. But yeah, so I think it was like a pretty good show, especially for one of their big 4. But then it just like it's one of those things that just got ruined by the shows where it's like really bad, but it kind of gets helped by a really good match. This was the opposite of that.
And the last thing you remember is 2 matches I really didn't enjoy.
Right, and
just wanted to be
especially
done.
with how long the main event was and the women's being Solomon, that had to be like an hour of the show probably.
Yep.
That just sucked.
Yeah, it was 36 and 21, right? So I think that's what
like
it was.
Just
an
under
hour.
an hour of suck. So since I think you were definitely a little high, I'll go B-, just to kind of
I liked a couple things.
That seems like
a bit
the
more
general trend of our opinions. So yeah, and I think I got everything except for 1. So I guess that's
you
neat.
win again.
I'm so close to sweeping one of these big 4s.
Because I took Balor and you did not.
And then we both got the women's wrong because Belair's the one we didn't pick.
Right.
So yeah, and then I guess Survivor Series I just gotta try to sweep it because Mania is still gonna anger me because that's 2 nights and I got one.
And it was the one you
wrong.
were most sure of too.
That was just depressing.
But that's going to wrap up our SummerSlam review, and now we'll move into some of the weekly programming we like to talk about. The one we do most in depth is what we'll talk about first, and that is this week's episode of AEW Dynamite. All right, sir. You're upset about some news you just got.
That was horrible.
But
so they announced on Rampage next week for Fight for the Fallen, we'll get Jeff Jarrett versus Jeff Hardy in a video game sponsored death match.
Video game sponsored death match?
It says death match, but I highly doubt it will be such. Unless one of them dies.
It puts everything in one match, so it's easy to avoid.
That's not the way to look at this. This is just horrible. That's just, I don't want to see them wrestling each other because neither of them are that good at it now. Especially Jeff Hardy.
That means no one else has to wrestle them.
That's just
silver linings.
Utterly disgusting.
Yeah.
That's just like credit is due for AEW. Like, and we love them and whatever, but this is just
not great.
I legitimately don't want to see that.
Put RVD in for a triple threat.
Gross. Just put Matt Hardy. We should do a tag death match. We'll have Hardy Boys versus Jeff Jarrett and Satnam Singh.
Perfect.
That's just awesome. Anyways, welcome to Tunnelless Dynamite. It's a grim, dark world.
No tunnels. How will we know who's the face and who's the heel?
I don't know. I'll never know.
It's madness.
Last week brought me clarity, and now I don't know. I don't know anymore.
But
anyways, how you always want to start off your week.
Jas in the ring.
Is Jas going to speak words in the ring.
Yes.
Which
not ideal
on paper.
Right.
We'll see with this. So Jericho spoke about how he was their friend, and we know they had a problem, and then Garcia asked him to stop talking. Garcia mentioned Jericho hitting him with the baseball bat last week and pinning him. Well, it was callous, but sure. Garcia said he chose Jericho every single time over his heroes and friends, which is true. Good callback to the weird Dana Bryan thing, where he turned on him in Toronto.
Yeah.
I was there. Garcia said because Jericho isn't choosing him, he can't do this anymore. He did his dance in Jericho's face and then left, which was pretty funny. Hager said that he liked that hat. He said something else about ride or die or whatever. I don't care. And he said he wants everybody to know that he doesn't appreciate Jericho. Then he left. Jericho said their careers are better since they associate with him, which I would arguably, or I would very vehemently disagree with when it comes to our next one, Ty Conti. And he says they're proud of that fact. But then the TJ spoke up. Conti said she feels sick and she's not even talking about the baby. Before she said that, I said the baby, but she was ready for me, I guess.
Yep.
It's like Dax Harwood with MJF. She just knows what I'm saying, but she hasn't seen it yet. Right. That kind of thing. She said she'll have this baby come back next year and be a champion without Jericho because she quits, which is good because she was on a roll before this.
Yep.
So, Anna Jay said tonight is about winning the AEW Women's World Championship. No, and it's not about appreciating Jericho.
Well, I mean, she is a legitimate contender.
Yep. Well, apparently this has to be like her 10th shot. Is she ranked number 5 again or something? Like
I mentioned the rankings later, actually.
Oh,
in that match, actually, I think.
That we need rankings?
That we've come I'll say it now, that we've come a long way from the company that had rankings to Anna Jay getting
another title shot.
For no apparent reason.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of wish we had the rankings. Or like, I wish the rankings were maybe not taken so like this and that, but like maybe that it's like a glimpse in like the pool of contenders at the moment. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yep.
There is some purpose to the rankings because Anna Jay getting consistent title shots or somewhat consistent. Like, it's ridiculous. So I feel like there was some purpose to the rankings. Say what you want about how legitimate they were. I did kind of like having them around.
I didn't hate them, but they definitely weren't executed super well.
Number 5 joke was fun though.
It was.
Anna Jay, I already did that. Never mind. I don't want to say that again. Next, we went to Angelo Parker, who said he loved being a sports entertainer, and he spoke about his hair, how he was having a good hair day. He said he's done everything he could to make Jericho proud of him, and he's given him everything. He bled out in a cage. I forgot. Remember him?
True.
They were just like bloody. He said he's given Jericho everything he can, but what has Jericho given him?
None.
He said he's got nothing left to give, and he left. Then Menard was next, saying Jericho's his childhood hero. He said when he was 15 and got his first paycheck, he spent his money on a Jericho shirt. Dummy. Yeah. Menard said when his wife was 8 months pregnant, he had no job, but Jericho heard his story, and he helped Menard get into AEW. Menard said the last 18 months have been nothing but a dream for him, and then he never understood why Kingston and Kevin Steen hate Jericho's guts, but now he's starting to understand why, and then he left. Guevara's last. He slapped a microphone out of Jericho's hand. He said he went from getting an AEW World title match to fighting Jericho's battle with Sting and putting him through a table because Sammy was loyal to Chris. He said deep down he always thought Jericho would help him. And he told Jericho he had a lot of stuff to work out, and if he does work it out, maybe he'll be here. Then he left as well, and Jericho's all alone.
Yes. I was really entertained by this, and I was like, oh no, Jazz starting out the show.
I was pleasantly surprised by this.
I haven't even been a fan of this angle particularly, but
we know I haven't.
I think one of the keys here, as I was thinking about it, is this segment took the spotlight off Jericho and put it on everybody else, and I like that choice
for,
a
Jericho
lot.
Appreciation Society.
Right. I thought a lot of them knocked it out of the park. I thought Garcia, Parker, Sammy.
I thought Parker was surprisingly.
I thought Menard was fantastic.
I thought Parker was.
Menard was almost in tears in this.
I really liked Parker's bit.
And then so I really liked it, and I'm hoping that Callis is also going to reject Jericho or rescind his offer just to mess with him.
That's the new dream.
Just to sort of tear Jericho, kick him while
Callis
he's down.
is a douche.
Right. This was good on paper, as you said. I was kind of like, ugh, Jazz starting out.
That's why I said that, because I was hoping you would share my sentiment. Right.
It was good.
I thought it was pretty good in general. It wasn't like perfect, but I thought it was generally good. And for a Jazz segment, this is as good as it's gotten, pretty much. Garcia was really short, but I thought he sounded really good.
He did.
I liked his bit, and the dance was funny. We took a dip with Hager, Conti, and AJ, but they were okay enough, I guess. I thought Hager was not great, but fine. And Anna Jay was short enough to not be bad.
Conti's rough, though.
Conti was rough, but I only like what she was saying because she talked about becoming a champion away from this, which is funny because that's what we've always been saying, right?
Yep.
Before she was tied to Guevara and then Jazz.
She was on a path.
Could have been a champ. She was really, like, I thought she was really close to being, like, in the orbit of the TBS title before it was created. And I think, like, if once she comes back, we could just completely reinvent her again. Like, just throw her back to what she was before all this. Give her another solid babyface run, and we can get her back on the role she was at the end of 2021. And she could get the TBS title. So I like that because it gives me hope that she could be something again because that's what they need. I feel like she could be, like, kind of not like a pillar, but like kind of that kind of idea where she's someone they've taken a chance on. They could make her into something because even though she was in NXT, she never did anything.
She breaks through with them.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So I think they could do that. But back to this, I thought Parker was surprisingly good. He really impressed me here. I thought he killed it. What he said made sense. I really liked the conflict in him and his delivery. I like that he was still, like, enjoyed doing this, and he's still, it's not like Garcia where he doesn't really want to be a sports trainer. It's like he still likes doing this, and he's still that character, but he's still disillusioned with Jericho. So I really like what he was saying. I thought, like, just for some reason, he was really good. It was kind of like in the Rebar Mitzvah.
2.0 were really good.
Yeah, I thought Menard was great too, and I thought with the Parker thing, it kind of reminded me of like when we had the Rebar Mitzvah and Darby just really impressed me. It was kind of like in these segments you get someone who
Remember how much you hated 2.0 back in the day when I liked them in NXT?
Sucked in NXT though.
Yeah.
Oh, they suck for a while.
I also like that Sammy was a maybe. That not everybody's walked out.
I like that.
That he's a maybe.
Menard was really good as well. I thought he was a little lower than Parker, but I thought he was really good too. I thought 2.0 in general, they really killed it.
Me too.
I thought Guevara finished off nicely, although I was expecting him to be more upset. I kind of wish he was, but I kind of also liked how he wasn't like totally against him because he's been with them for a while, and in a couple different factions. So is Hager, but I don't care about Hager.
He was wearing his inner circle.
I thought that was cool. I think like this was surprisingly good. Not the strongest opening segment we've ever had, but I thought it was really good considering what Jazz usually gives us.
And maybe subconsciously, it's like the Jazz is disintegrating. So we're like, this is good. Why is this so enjoyable?
Why am I?
What is it about this?
Why am I smiling?
That I like here.
What's this smile? Yeah, but it was really good. Yeah.
Yep.
Next we got a quick Jericho interview. I think it was after commercial. I don't know. But Callis came in and said he apologizes if he had any part in what just happened. Jericho says it happened and he's made up his mind. He has an answer, but he's gonna wait till next week.
And I'm just like, Jericho's now desperate, and Callis can kick him while he's down, and that's what I'm going for. Like, nope, we don't want you in our group anymore. Nobody wants you in any group. That would be good TV.
Go start another group.
Yeah. No. Just take a break. Take some time off.
This was fine. It finally sets up the payoff we've been waiting for, but of course we have to wait another week, which is a little bothersome. Jericho kind of has to decline him, I think. Whether Jazz rejoins him or not remains to be seen, and I don't care.
Nope.
Then we got a clip shown of FTR challenging Bucks to a rubber match at All In from Collision last week.
So that's great, but I wanted Aussie Open FTR, but this is fine.
I love Aussie Open, but I disagree slightly just because if this is the biggest wrestling show that they're billing it as, I think Bucks FTR is the smartest match you can book.
Then I wish they would have had the foresight to have a story somewhere instead of like, hey, let's run it back and there's your story.
I'm okay enough with that because that's all you really need.
The match will probably make me not care because
it's gonna be awesome. The only issue I have with it is you should make it 2 or 3 falls. That just seems to be the thing to do with FTR.
Yeah.
And I don't care if it's like the 4th time they've done it. It seems to work because
it does.
DIY, Briscoes, Bullet Club Gold, that's 3 bangers right there.
It's their signature match.
Yeah. And hopefully Aussie Open Aussie Open FTR is definitely a go-to match for me. I just think for All In, I think this is a smart decision to go to because you need to go big.
Yeah.
I wish they had done that for the women's division, but again, with the women's division, I don't know how much they could do. Anyways, I think I'm just avoiding it, but it's Bucks Hardys.
So it's funny because Bucks came out first, I think, right?
Yeah.
And I had forgotten who their opponent was, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. At least the opening match is the Bucks, and then the music hit and the disappointment set in. But anyways, again, on paper, so we'll see.
Yeah, the one thing I noted was Jeff's not even wearing face paint, proving to me they truly have no purpose here. I didn't note it, but the other thing that I wish I noted is poor Ethan Page.
Yes.
Makes me sad. It's so depressing. Anyways, Hardy's hit a tandem go buster to Matt Jackson. They dropped him on to Nick. Matt Hardy did the turnbuckle delete thing to Matt Jackson. Nick blocks a poetry motion with the Damagiri, then Matt Jackson tags him in. Roundhouse from the apron to Jeff from Nick. Then Slingshot X Factor in the ring to Matt Hardy before flipping back out to hit the moonsault to Jeff. You know, the typical thing he does.
Right.
They're baby faces now, so I expect to see Nick Jackson do his kicky hot tag flurry thing at some point. If I don't get that ever again, I'm going to be sad.
Saving it for All In.
He better, because if I never see that again, I'm going to cry myself to sleep. Jeff Hardy, and I do use this in air quotes, hot tag flurry, because it's Jeff Hardy in 2023.
It is.
Remember that next week when we're watching Jeff Hardy in 2023.
He'll be the young one in the match.
That's sad.
Significantly.
That makes me more disgusted. Significantly?
You're such an ageist.
That makes me... Ugh.
Well, Nero is my age.
Nero's your age, and Jarrett's older than you, probably.
Oh yeah.
I'm billing that match as the two worst Jeffs I know.
We looked it up. I know Jeff Jarrett's in his 50s. I'm almost positive.
Jeff's like bordering on that, right? Not quite, but he's like getting there.
56.
Oh God.
Jeffrey Jarrett.
Jesus. All right. There's an iffy whisper in the wind to both Bucks. Jeff pins Nick for 2. Nick avoids a twist of fate, super kicks Jeff. Matt Hardy goes for 1 as well. Matt Jackson super kicks him. Bucks hit, and I quote, almost a shatter machine.
I have that quote as well. Almost a shatter
3D. I don't know why they couldn't. You can.
It was Excalibur.
I know. That's the
crazy.
weirdest part.
Crazy.
Like Flapjack Cutter or something.
He's the guy.
And like 3D, 1D.
Was
something
weird.
Else. Dudley Death Drop, something. There's Stereo Twist of Fate. Then a Swanton to Nick for 2. Matt Jackson broke the pin. Twist of Fate center to Nick. Then Matt spikes him with Twist of Fate. He oversold that, but like, where I mean, like, he shouldn't have sold that good because who cares? But he made it look good.
He did.
Jeff goes for a whisper in the wind, but Matt Jackson super kicks his legs out to knock him off. BT trigger to Jeff for the win. Nick shouts FTR. Then they come. Then he says all in. Then there's a standoff kind of thing.
Yeah, there were a couple rough patches, but I thought it ended up being pretty good, actually. Hardys have clearly lost a step. Even commentary, like, spend a bit of time talking about how they've shifted their style, right? Because they can't do stuff.
I don't know if they've shifted the styles. It's like, just it's not intentional. They've just shifted.
But it's ended up, I thought, being kind of entertaining, especially when the Bucks were in control, obviously. The action, considering who was involved, was pretty steady. The length felt right, like 11 minutes. I thought it was a solid TV tag match, which is probably more than I expected. So, and then the Bucks accept the challenge, right, which we expected.
I thought it was perfectly fine, for a Hardys match.
Yeah, it was.
Would I put them in the opener? No, never. But they did, so it is what it is. Fine for them, but never something I need to see on Dynamite, let alone as an opener. Hardys look slow and are tired most of the time, and they once again just retread their old tag offense at a slower speed, altered style, or whatever.
Yeah, it was Hardys at like 2/3 speed.
Yeah. Bucks had some cool stuff though. Thankfully they won this time. FTR Bucks 3 should be epic. That's a perfect big match for the tag titles for a show like All In. I'm definitely looking forward to that. Interesting thing to note is that once again, FTR have the belts. FTR have been champions going into every one of the matches because they have the AEW titles for this one and the first match, obviously. Which was the one with the infamous 450 splash finish that I love.
Yep.
That's so awesome because that's not a WWE thing. 'Cause it's a small part of their character that makes sense.
Correct.
Anyways, but then the second match on Dynamite last year, I remember, was hot off of the first Briscoe match, I think. And FTR had the ROH and AAA tag titles, and that's when Bucks were still healed.
I don't think FTR loses this one. I don't know.
I don't think so. Also, the first match was heel FTR face Bucks, and then they swapped that for the second match, and now they're both faces, so fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll obviously talk about it like in picks or whatever. Oh, we must do. Know how we're gonna do all in picks because I'll miss the one where we would normally do it. So
just send
we might have to do incomplete picks, or you can. Maybe I'll write up picks maybe, but yeah, I would agree FTR are probably gonna win because I don't think the Bucks really need the titles right now.
Yeah,
I don't know. But I'd agree with that.
And they seem to be on, like, those titles are on Collision, right? Because FTR's a big deal over there.
Yep. I still say we give the titles to Aussie Open, but just saying. Then we get an announcement, an air quote tournament to determine the AEW Women's Championship match All In. I really wish they had done something bigger, but I don't know what they could have done given what they do with the division right now. So 4-way match for the title at All In, which I guess ensures a star-studded affair, kinda. Toni Storm gets a bye as her title rematch. She defends against Anna Jay tonight, and obviously the winner will be in this match.
Yeah.
Bunny versus Baker on Dynamite next week, and Saraya vs. Sky Blue on Rampage tonight for the other 2 spots. So the first thing I thought was AEW / Ring of Honor, they really need to stop using the word tournament so liberally. This is hardly such. It's very obviously also Sheeta, Storm, Baker, Saraya.
Seems like it.
It'll be one of those 4-ways where it'll be like that 4-way from Full Gear last year where it was half Blackpool, half Jazz.
Yeah.
Or, something like that, because we'll have probably 2 Outcasts in here, which we'll all love because it's the Outcasts. Slight chance Sky Blue makes it, but I highly doubt it, especially because it's in Saraya's neck of the woods. No Biggest Anything Ever is going to have Sky Blue on it, though, so she's pre-show at most.
Probably at this point.
Even then, I don't know.
Why you got to hate Sky Blue?
Because she sucks. The best thing she's done is get with Fletcher.
Yeah. Smart.
Mm-hmm. You?
This tournament? Whatever. I don't know. We'll see. It's already got half of the participants in it, right? So,
yeah.
Which is kind of strange. I hope Sheeta just
Tourney, baby.
retains, yeah.
Kind of. She just gives it back to Storm.
No, please no.
Gives it to Saraya.
We need to have that, like, Storm and Saraya need to implode or whatever so we can just end that.
And somehow Saraya wins the title.
No, she gets released. Best of luck on your future endeavors.
That's a little... that's all right.
I don't generally hope people lose their jobs, so that's true. I shouldn't do that. But anyways.
Next we get a recap of MJF and Cole's segment from last week with the All-In title match announcement. Then we get another bro sesh, as I will label it.
It was.
MJF guesses what they're doing is going to go skinny dipping with rats, and that's an interesting guess.
Because they were in shorts.
Oh.
He said, because we're in shorts, we're going skinny. I don't know where that...
Still an interesting guess. I don't know where that would come from. Cole says it's something better, and they're going to a trampoline park. Max is about to say WTF, but of course it cuts away because, haha, he almost said a bad word on TV.
Crazy.
Cole jumps high on the trampoline like a kid, and he's like, isn't this awesome? Like a kid, like, in front of their parents or whatever, and MJF isn't enthused.
You're like, watch how high I can jump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cole's listing off all the things there, and MJF's interested when he says dodgeball, and just complains about playing with kids instead of going out with chicks. And he says if Cole wants them to play, he'll play. And then we get like a bunch of shots of him obliterating kids in the face with dodgeballs. He said things like
Billy Madison style. If you've ever seen that.
Yeah, we watched that.
Yeah,
because that was your fault.
Yeah. It's a great classic.
And MJ was saying things like, and I quote, "Bad news, I'm your dad," or "You're adopted."
Yep.
And then he said, "It's all about the boom" when he threw one at a kid on their phone. Then Cole says he can't do that. And then a girl comes up to them and asks what 2 adults are doing in a trampoline park, and she calls them nerds. Then Cole says she shouldn't talk like that, and she flips them off. And then Cole lets MJ throw the dodgeball at her, and that's how we end this.
Yeah, this one was just okay for me. Cole was less believable here because he had to act like a little kid or whatever, right? It was fun, but it wasn't my favorite of the segments with these 2 guys together. But it wasn't bad.
Yeah,
TV.
I thought this was better than the restaurant one.
Yeah, that's probably true.
100% dodgeballs. All right.
Yeah.
But I thought per the usual, this was pretty solid. It was amusing. I thought Cole was solid. MJF's part was the best, though. Obviously, that was funny, and then the ending was solid too. They served less of a purpose with these guys kind of being friends already, but I still like to have them because they're enjoyable.
Yep.
Then we get a recap of the triple threat match from last week in the parking lot fight from Rampage that we've watched for sure.
Plan on it. It's on the list to watch.
Next we got Blackpool backstage promo right off of that. Mox sincerely hopes best friends learned their lessons and says they don't belong in a ring or a parking lot with them. He hopes Sue got their flowers. Mox says they don't just think they can win, they know they will. Mox mentions them entering Pac, and then Claudio asks how home is and says he couldn't just turn on them and think he could get away with it. And Yuta says he'll have to miss Wembley, which will suck for Pac. Mox says Death Triangle's real cool and they don't fear death. Death fears them.
I have no recollection of this, and I don't have it in my notes. And it doesn't even ring a bell with you recapping it there. Did this actually happen?
Yeah.
I do not have any thoughts on it because I don't remember it at all. The next thing I have is Jungle Boy and RVD. Did I go cook food or go to the washroom? Not usually for Dynamite, right?
I don't think so.
So I don't know. I have no opinion.
Did we watch it here? Because I know we watched...
Down here? I think so.
This is probably the half where we watched it here, so I don't know what you would have been doing.
Me either. But I don't have any recollection of that. So
I
defer to your opinion. Your educated opinion.
It was a solid promo from Blackpool as usual. Claudio solid. Mox always delivers great. Wasn't much of consequence, but still good.
Oh, yeah, here it is. We head backstage with Blackpool. Just checking some online review because I'm like, how? I don't... Like, even if I don't have thoughts on a segment, I'll always just put, like, Blackpool talk or something, right? But I've gotten...
What were you doing?
I don't know.
I'm confused.
I blacked out for a little while there, I guess.
Yeah, maybe because you're a raging alcoholic and you just blacked out or something.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm sure it was lovely.
Next we get, speaking of lovely, Jack Perry versus Rob Van Dam, which is FTW rules for the FTW Championship, which is no DQ and falls count anywhere. Which begs the question, why is this the first FTW rules match we're having? We've had like plenty of FTW title matches, like Jack Perry and Hulk and Hook. Why wasn't that FTW rules? Starks and Cage wasn't FTW rules. Starks versus Cole Carter wasn't FTW rules.
Nope.
Oh, you see,
Cole Carter.
Cole Carter's got a thing going right now where he thinks Maria Kanellis has the hots for him.
Nice.
So I just randomly saw that on Instagram. I'm like, wow, he's still doing things. Okay. Starks versus Danhausen, I think, was also not. Starks Hook, also not.
Right. So many have not been.
Hook.
This one is.
And literally all of them haven't been, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah. Jack got the jump on him before the bell, and he's got his pants are like kind of Jericho tribute. Jerry Lynn. Jericho or Jerry Lynn.
Didn't notice.
One of the two. Because he had yellow on him.
Didn't notice. And colorblind.
Deficient.
Whatever.
No, colorblind would mean you wouldn't see the color. You see the color, damn it. You just don't see the right color.
You sound very pretentious when you say, actually, it's color deficient. Because people are just like, what? So you just say colorblind.
You can see
the
colors.
So the layperson is just like, dude, don't see colors good. That's all I need to communicate.
You can see the colors.
Kinda.
Corner shoulder block to the gut, and then running heel kick in the corner from RVD. Better than Anna Jay does it.
How dare you? How dare you?
Well, she didn't hit it this week, so.
True. She hit the ropes with it, though.
There's a spinning leg drop from the apron from RVD with Jack over the barricade, which surprisingly
looked really good.
It looked
great.
Really good. It's probably the one thing RVD did that actually looked really good. Just the way he hit into the barricade was really solid. The chair-assisted basement dropkick in the corner from RVD. A rolling thunder with a chair for 2. Jack goes to throw a chair at RVD, but hits the ref. And doesn't matter. It's no DQ. And it also landed on the top rope pretty perfectly, which was funny. RVD goes for the frog splash, but Jack crotches him on the top turnbuckle, climbs up looking for something, but RVD shoves him off to the outside, crashing through a table, which surprised me because I had no idea the table was there.
Yeah, it was kind of sudden.
It was probably a commercial break, so I was like, oh my god, he's taking like a straight back bump to that. No, there was a
table there now.
Yeah. 5-star frog splash connects for a phantom 3 count. Aubrey runs down a count to 3. But by the time she gets in, it's a 2 count. Jack hits RVD with a low blow, then shoves him in a chair in the corner, rolls them up with a fistful of tights to retain the title.
Yeah, I mean, you said it with Jeff Hardy, right? Like, RVD played his greatest hits here, just not at the normal pace, right? Like, he's 52, so...
And arguably looked a little better than Jeffrey, so...
Like, and I think you'll feel the same, like, super impressive for a 52-year-old.
Yeah.
But it's a 52... Anyways, he looked out of breath. There was an awkward adjustment. Remember on the split-legged moonsault was kind of messed up.
Yeah, he
didn't come off right away.
Then.
He kind of hesitated on top.
I feel like that's a fair adjustment. Obviously, it doesn't look great, but like I'm willing to allow it instead of like Jericho under-rotating on a lionsault.
Pretty impressive. I just like... RVD dominated, right? And I don't know how that helps.
It did not help
Jack Perry.
But
I guess he's doing the cowardly heel that finds a way to win and cheats. But
you could give him throw the guy a bone.
Yeah, he got beat up here pretty bad.
Throw the Jungle Boy a bone.
And so even though they've both kind of over-delivered, I would just like to point out here that the first 2 matches this week have featured the Hardys and RVD. That's not what I want. That's WCW vibes of like, let's just grab everybody that was in WWE for 5 minutes and put them on and have them go over our talent. Not that they did.
Hopefully this is it for RVD.
So not a direction I want them to go.
Really more.
The crowd was kind of into this. The action was pretty good, so it wasn't awful.
This was solid. I thought not great, but not bad either.
Agreed.
RVD was about as good as you could realistically expect. I didn't really want to see him at wrestle, and I didn't care, so it was about what I expect. Aside from this being leg drop looking really good, it wasn't much of consequence. It was serviceable enough for no DQ TV match, but it looks rather tame compared to last week, which was far better. And the questionable finish, unfortunately, leaves a rematch possibility, so that's not good. Lucha Bros speak. Do you remember this one?
I do.
Okay.
This one existed.
They say they're going to get revenge for what Blackpool did to Pac, their Blackpool Coward Club or something. Penta says they'll show them why they're the best tag team in the universe.
Yeah, I thought Penta was cool. The other two don't do much for me. Like, Phoenix is incredible in the ring, but character-wise, speaking-wise, there's not much there.
He's
and Alex
as bad as John Morrison.
Alex more annoys me than anything at this point. So I thought Penta was cool.
A lot better when it was like supposed to be kind of like, or no, it was a lot. It wasn't supposed to be, but it was just cooler when Penta was heel.
And then he would go Penta says. That was kind of interesting. But now he's just doesn't seem to fit.
Then he was a mortician for a bit.
Right.
Now he's just Alex.
Yeah.
Next we get to hear from Cole and MJF again. MJF talked to the crowd saying his favorite place in the USA is the Midwest.
Yep.
Which he famously, I think, has
not been a fan
before.
Of.
Yeah. So I thought that was funny. He was just crediting anything where he talks negatively about the Midwest. And Cole says, they'll wrestle for the AEW World Title at All In, which Cole's going to beat him for. And then MJF takes this as him wanting a promo battle. He said he's so pale white that if this was in the 1980s, Hogan would have snorted him.
Hogan would have snorted you.
Yes. He mocked Cole having a concussion, which I forget what it was, but it was funny. And then he called him noodle arms. And Cole said he didn't want a promo battle. that was really funny.
Yeah, it was MJF started his half of a promo battle and
it was
got no reply.
It was like what he usually does, but in a joking way, which made it arguably funnier.
Yeah.
I just loved how random it was. He just started going on. He just started going off on that, which was funny, and then Cole had to stop him. But yeah, so Cole said he didn't want a promo battle. He talked about making history All In. He said the fans loved them as a tag team, and they'd love to see them with tag team gold around their waist. So he mentioned the ROH tag titles. He said he owes his entire career to Ring of Honor. He said the pro wrestling that you know and love is thanks to ROH. Cole mentioned all his titles in ROH. Well, saying he never won the ROH tag titles. He also never held the 6-man and Pure titles, which I don't know about the timeline, but just to be...
I don't know if Pure was around then.
No, it might have been Gauntlet, but just to be a nuisance, I'm making that point. Cole mentioned teams that held those titles like the Kings of Wrestling, Redragon, Miss Redragon, and, of course, the Briscoe brothers. I think he said the Jeff and Mark Briscoe
The
brothers.
Kingdom. No, just kidding.
The Kingdom.
Nope.
Did they hold the tag titles? I don't know.
Probably.
I think it makes more sense for him not mentioning the Kingdom, though, because isn't that the whole point?
It makes sense always to not mention the Kingdom. That should be just a general rule of thumb.
Rule number one, just don't mention
the Kingdom. Just don't mention them.
Because usually when you mention someone, they come out.
I listened to some other podcast that is equally has
against the Kingdom.
The irrational disdain for the Kingdom.
It makes me laugh. Cole said that AEW has a 0-hour pre-show at All In. I missed the buy-in. That was just a cooler name.
Yes. Especially when gambling is their theme.
Yeah. I would like it at least to be kept for Double or Nothing, but just in general, I just like the name of the buy-in. Yeah. It's I don't know. It's also that's your chance to still buy in for the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It makes a lot of sense.
I just like the name buy-in. 0 hours, just that's fine for ROH, but just it feels bland to me. It's just it's barely a tier above a kickoff show. Because that's the
pre-show.
I think WWE does that now. But they always used to do kickoff shows, which is just that. This is barely better than that. But I missed the buy-in. It was just such a cooler name, and it felt unique to me. Anyways, he mentions the 0 hour where they should become ROH Tag Team Champions. MJF does not want to wrestle twice in the same night. Adam Cole's a sick pervert. He said he normally threatens to stab somebody with an iron if they want him to wrestle even once, or more than once or whatever. And sorry, where is? Okay, I got it. I'm back on track. There's too many lines here. Max asked the crowd if they want them to become the ROH World Tag Team Champions, and fans were cheering. And MJF said, "As your scumbag, he says they are challenging Aussie Open. Hey, mentioned him.
Yep.
For the ROH tag titles all in during the 0 hour, not the buy-in pre-show. And it says because they're better than you, baby. Roderick Strong came in shouting Adam repeatedly. Strong can't believe that Cole wants to win the ROH tag titles with MJF, but not with an ROH legend and his real best friend, which is Roddy. Andrew said that he is sick of Strong's jealous ex-girlfriend vibes and wanted Strong to get in his car, go home, and cry to his pillow, and wanted him to listen to Taylor Swift and shake it off, you bland female dog. And the fans chanted "Shake it off," which that was funny. His insults to Strong always just seem to be.
Roddy's
so
been great
good
in this role.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Roddy's doing really good.
Very
this
amusing.
is probably one of the best things Roddy's done, which is
he's funny.
Saying something that they brought Roddy up. I heard he was a really good heel when he was ROH champion.
And the neck brace. He was. I remember him being like the arrogant frat boy kind of thing was what he was doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard good things about that. He said that the Kingdom was right. Boom, they got mentioned.
Yes.
Eat it. Cole was. They were right about Cole saying that Cole was never Strong's friend, or that he forgets about his real friends. Bennett and Taven came out to hug Strong, and then they walked to the back with him. Cole shoved MJF, asking him what his problem is. He said he's Max's friend, but he's Strong's friend too. And he was poking him in the chest, and MJF kept going like it was some big deal, like wiping it off, like because he was getting poked a lot.
Right in the heart. It was hurting his heart.
The best wrestling finisher ever is the heart punch.
It is.
And then Cole apologized for that. MJF said to hug it out, so they hugged it out. MJF said it's fine and told Cole to go check on his boy while Cole said he was sorry. MJF said all right as Cole left, and MJF kind of like got a more serious look, and Cole's running off. Cole had the limited edition, the white shirt with the stars. I'm so mad I didn't get that.
So they're wrestling 2 matches now on.
In theory.
So I can't see them working their hardest in the pre-show one, right? Because you not gonna risk hurting yourself.
I don't think they're gonna hurt
the main event.
Well, I think that's how I would do it if you're wrestling twice. Is either you go back to back or you distance themselves, or you distance them as far as you can. So I think this works.
Do you think it plays into the story? Like, for example, we get to the tag match, Cole refuses to tag in and just lets MJF take a beating.
I don't think it would be something like that.
One-on-one.
But I'll kind of get to mine after I talk about this. But
yeah,
what do you think about the segment?
I thought Cole sounded great here. He usually does. And I'm really enjoying Roddy with the neck brace and that whole thing. And it's just like MJF's abuse of Roddy is just a bridge too far for Cole, right? Like that's what
I like that's
there.
Still something like he's not as much as like they are playing that as a storyline beat, which I like. He hasn't actually forgotten about Roddy, right? Like I like that. That's
but then he also knows like this is why MJF doesn't have friends because this is how he treats people. So he's kind of like in between those two. So yeah, I thought it was good. There's a lot going on, and I think pretty much all of it's being done really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I enjoyed it as well. Another great one from these two. The insults in the quote unquote promo battle were really funny. It's interesting they're challenging Aussie Open on the pre-show. But I guess AEW going all out, which was unintended pun, but then I accepted it.
Yeah.
For the biggest show ever, because that's a big ass match for a pre-show.
It is.
But I'm all for it because I think it would create an interesting story heading into a title match. I love them both, and I love Aussie Open. The one caveat is they cannot win under any circumstances. Because I love Cole and MJF, but Aussie Open have to win. They're a legitimate team, and they're one of my favorite teams going right now. And Aussie Open deserves something to do. And while FTR have the main belts in AEW, Aussie Open can do at least some cool stuff with the ROH once. It's something for them, and they deserve gold. I think Cole and MJF stand to gain more storyline-wise from losing the titles. So to answer your question earlier, I think it would be interesting to have them coming off another loss, heading into their big match against each other, right? Because bearing in mind the last tag match they had was losing to FTR, right? So I think it'd be interesting to have them coming into a singles title match against each other, having lost 2 title matches already, and then maybe during this match, MJF becomes, like, during the title match, I mean, like, the AEW title match, MJF becomes more desperate to hang on to his last title, right? Because he's lost 2 shots at the title already, so this is the last remaining title or opportunity or anything adjacent that he has, right? And so he'll pull out something to, like, win. He'll do the ring or a low blow or anything that he's done before, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. And that'll facilitate a split after. I feel like that could work. That, you know? But my main point being Aussie Open don't deserve to go out like that, so they have to win. I'd actually be upset if they lost, even though I love Cole and MJF and I love this thing, but I think Aussie Open losing would be an unnecessary step in this. I don't think they lose, but I'm just saying it's like a Takeshita thing. I'm protecting them at all costs. I can't have them losing because it doesn't really work for me. But I think that's interesting though. The match should be good and it's definitely something worth watching in a pre-show. I could, depending on what I'm doing, I would be able to watch that away because I can just watch that on YouTube.
True.
So we'll see. I'll watch that.
YouTube's everywhere.
My Toronto adventures. Next we got Lucha Bros versus Blackpool Combat Club, which is Mox and Claudio. Do you remember this or did you forget this too?
I remember this happening.
Okay, now I'm just checking.
You even have notes.
Joker Penta is back.
Yep.
It's his best look. I mean, the white and gold at was it Super Card of Honor or it was Death Before Dishonor? Right. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. That was probably, if there was no Joker Penta, I think the white and gold would take the cake because white and gold is the best color combo of all time. But
it is strong, very strong combo.
Seth Rollins, I mean.
And I can see it, usually. I can recognize gold. White, no problem.
White is arguably
strong.
Your best color.
Good with the white.
Yeah. But anyways, Joker Penta's awesome. They need to make a figure of this at some point. Honestly, I don't know how they're not making a figure of it because it's so nice.
That's why half my stuff is black and white. Two colors that are super simple.
Well, and then it's like, if you're putting together a wardrobe, you're not going to have too many issues.
That's correct.
Yeah. Must suck. Anyways, Stereo dive stay outside from Lucha Bros before the match starts. Penta hit me Japan.
Early.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That was surprisingly early for 2 on Claudio. Yuta hit Phoenix with Claudio's ROH title behind the ref's back. Then Claudio lifts Phoenix into a military press, and he dropped him into a cutter from Mox for 2, which is kind of cool. Spike power driver from Blackpool to Phoenix for 2. Phoenix ducked the Doomsday device and then made the tag out to Penta for a hot tag flurry. There was exchange with a lot of strikes between everyone, and a series of moves left everyone down. Then there was a strike exchange between Phoenix and Claudio, which was kind of similar. Then Mox Penta tag in. We get a lengthy chop exchange. Then
Very lengthy.
The finish came when Phoenix took out Yuta with a moonsault on the outside. Then Mox unmasks Penta and rolls him up for the win. Then post-match, Blackpool attacked Lucha Bros further, and Claudio wore Penta's mask, which is kind of funny.
That was funny. The mask pulling thing is getting close to overdone for me, but it kind of works.
Especially on them.
It's always. But Blackpool, I guess, are awful heels, right?
Penta.
So really good match, as you would expect with these guys. Competitive. Gives Blackpool a quality win on TV, and you get a good showing for the Lucha Brothers. I didn't expect them to win, but yeah, it was a very good tag team match, as you would expect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I thought it started off pretty fast, which I thought was good, and then they slowed it down for picking back up.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like in general this feud is kind of lacking something. It might be Pac, but it just felt like something's missing in general.
The heat's not there for me.
Yeah, the heat's not there for me. As much as I like it on paper, because I love both.
Same.
Both of them. Just the heat is not there.
If you had told me this was just a match they threw together with no story, that's kind of what it felt like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't help that, of course, it just doesn't, not only does it feel kind of heatless, but it just doesn't hit the same as Blackpool Elite, which is one of my favorite things in recent memory, right? That was awesome, and that felt like a really hit, right? That
it pales from recent comparison, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah, big time. Some cool sequences in here, though, and the finish works well enough. It's something we've seen happen in Lucha Bros time and time again, but it works well enough, I guess. And yeah, this is solid, but it does feel like it could have been the same without a prior storyline, which is not a great thing.
Nope.
Just I feel like I should be liking this a lot more than I am.
Me too.
And I like it. I don't want to say that I'm not, but just I feel like I should be getting much more enjoyment.
It's not feeling like an important program to me.
No, it just feels like it kind of came out of the back door of the previous feud because it kind of stemmed from the blood and guts, and then it's just kind of
and then Pac
from there.
I get it. It's hurt by Pac not being there to interact and do anything too.
But just
obviously.
Even with Pac there, I was just like, I just kind of want heel Pac, and I know it's ironic to say that we could take a hiatus from Death Triangle as I'm wearing a Death Triangle shirt.
You are,
but I want them to give some time for heel Pac again because it's been a long time since we've
heel
seen that.
Pac is dope.
Exactly. Next we get Kenny Omega interview. Marvez asks him what's next. Omega says FTR and the Bucks are for the best, and he hopes for the Bucks to win, obviously. And he says next week he'll sit down with JR to talk about his future in Callis and Takeshita and his plans for All In.
Yeah, Kenny was playing it straight here, right? Just kind of serious, straightforward. No, not really any new information. It was fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was perfectly fine. Really quick bit to give us something for next week. And these are the things that we like from JR, so I'm looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm. That's his best role.
And Omega's a good subject at this time, I think. So it's a good time to bring back that for JR.
There are people who hate Kenny Omega speaking, eh? I found this out. Yeah. Like, I don't think he's like an all-timer or anything, but I do think he has kind of his own style, and I think some people just don't like it.
I don't understand him.
I don't mind it.
It's not like a Roddy thing where he's awesome in the ring, he's just not good on the mic.
Roddy's just like wooden.
Roddy's like,
although he's amusing the heck out of me right now.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, he's finally found something good, but
yeah.
You mentioned Calson Takeshita before mentioning All In, so that makes me think that's a possibility if Ospreay isn't. As someone all but dead set on the Ospreay Omega rubber match, Omega Takeshita is acceptable. It's an acceptable replacement.
Because you're getting Jericho Ospreay instead.
That's horrible. I'm legitimately going to be pissed if they confirm that, because that's just like, not only you're going to deny me of the thing I want, but you're going to give me something I actively don't want.
My hope is that they put that rumor out there as like a trial balloon, and that the reaction has been not favorable, and that they don't do it.
They have to know that's not a good idea.
Or maybe they do it in Ospreay like, I'm going to pull a 4.5-star match out of Jericho.
I don't care what he pulls out of Jericho. That's not the point. He needs to do it with Omega or like something.
And then Billy Gunn's going to unretire and he'll pull a match out of... Do you know how old Billy Gunn is?
How old is he?
59.
Damn.
He's older than Jeff Jarrett.
He looks sick for 59.
Well, I mean, there is some possible enhancement that I would suggest.
But still, for 59.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But Omega Takeshita is sweet. But now the dream, of course, is Omega Ospreay at All In. Then Omega can deal with Takeshita All Out right after. But I don't know if they'll do that. They probably won't. But I feel like that's the kind of thing they have to consider, because booking two pay-per-views so close together is like, that's why I'm kind of thinking of that kind of doubleheader for Omega, and then also my idea for Swerve and Darby. Speaking of which, Mogul Embassy time. That's what
my
we call
first note.
a segue.
Jack, a big fan of Nana these days. You enjoy the Nana. He just has fun.
It's really
man.
funny.
It is.
It's so funny, and it's so dumb.
He just dances.
It's so
great.
Dumb. It's like, I don't know why it's so funny, but it's really funny.
Nana. Nana is awesome.
Like, I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like when Sami Zayn would dance along.
It tickles you greatly.
It's so funny. He did that when Swerve was going out to face Darby a couple weeks ago, but
he was dancing a lot this week.
Yeah, it was really fun. They're just all like, he's dancing on the way down, right, which is really fun. But then like they're all posing on the apron or in the ring, and he's still just
going
grooving, and it's really funny. It's funnier than it has any right to be.
Swerve looks so crazy. He looks so cool.
But like, it's just Swerve is cool.
Swerve is
the
cool.
only way to explain it, because like, I feel like there is a universe where someone dresses like that and they look dumb.
No, Swerve is one of those people that just has so much swag or whatever that he can pull off. It's whatever confidence, whatever the formula is to pull off whatever.
Got something.
Yeah, because he's wearing a ridiculous hat, and he's got grills in, and he's got whatever, and a fur coat.
I hate grills, but I like it on Swerve.
Heck, yes.
Remember when he was in NXT, he had the weird like colored dreads.
He
great. Still look cool.
He's awesome.
He's cooler than he has any right to be. He's the coolest guy. He's just got something. That's why they need to put the title on him.
Which is why I'm happy he's fronting this group now, it feels like.
Yeah, they need to put something on him at some point. If not the main title, I would argue, like, I know he had a shot, but
top heel.
I'd argue you give him the Atlantic title. I did say Jay White before, but Swerve's on a roll right now. I'd argue you give Swerve the Atlantic title, give him a solid run with that, because that can prep him with, like, obviously, I think, and I think you would agree, he's main title ready.
Yep.
However, I think you could give him the mid card title, and I'm saying the Atlantic title or international title or whatever, because the TNT title sucks. So.
The All Atlantic right now is
you give him the good belt, right? Exactly.
And whoever takes it off Cassidy is
right, and then
made.
Swerve, you give him, like, I'm not saying he's ready for a main title, but I think it's still good to test the waters with him as a champion.
Yep.
And I think you give him time to, like, prove he could kill it with a title, and then not only would he be ready for a main title run, like, just no doubt he would be full ready for it after a mid card tournament. It'd be like, you know how the Intercontinental used to be the prop up for. It'd be like that. That's the idea here,
the
right?
idea is you're on your way to
That's
the
kind of
big
my
title.
thought process here. And then also, with Cassie's great work here, then if Swerve were to have a great run, that props up that title even more, which is also kind of the goal, right? So I feel like it would kind of work in both ways there. So once he's done with all this, I would like Swerve to have that belt, and then I'm saying 2024 is the year he gets the belt, because obviously the time's not right, but
put gold on Swerve.
Atlantic title would give you time to for the world title picture to shift into a picture where you have a babyface champion that Swerve can take out, you know?
Because it's not just us. People love Swerve. Like,
I've seen some people saying he could be a champion, and then
I believe it.
I think he would be a fantastic champion. And this is the AEW where he's not too small.
Nope.
He was cruiserweight in North America.
He's thicker than he used to be, too. He's added muscle for sure.
He was cruiserweight division for a while, then he was North American champion where he did nothing. They didn't do anything with him there, so he has potential. Anyways, enough with the fantasy booking, but
we love Swerve.
We're a Swerve podcast here.
We are.
But yeah, so Swerve's in with the Mogul Embassy. He bragged about the the massacre of Nick Wayne.
It was
last week. Massacre on
awesome segment.
Massacre at the Buddy Wayne Academy. Fox then called up Darby Allin to bring his ass out here. Darby Allin indeed brought his ass out there. And he called Fox. He said he called Fox, and he wouldn't answer. He said he tried to get Fox in AEW sooner. Then Fox got in AEW by himself and said congratulations to Fox. He said he respected Fox, and he's going to credit Fox for changing his life. He said something about, like, he got into AEW by himself and congratulations, but he's mad about, like, him vouching for a 16-year-old or something, which was interesting, which is what we were talking about last week, right? So I like that they did bring it to that. Alan said Fox has some new friends, but Alan has friends too, which that just made me groan because you know it's not Nick Wayne. Then the lights went out, and it's Buddy Wayne. He's back from the dead. No, it's Sting. So yeah, that's great. And what's Sting like to do when Darby's in trouble? Make a group of heels look dumb.
Hey, I've got an idea. We've got a really emerging heel group right now.
With frickin' Swerve.
What would further elevate them? Let's have them all cower and get dominated by a literal senior citizen.
Hey, you know how Brian Cage is like really muscular and he could do really cool things, but he hasn't because he's always looked like a chump against Sting?
I didn't
want to do it again?
I didn't like the face paint choice this week.
No, I thought that was weird.
But
this is not the first time Brian Cage has been chumped by Sting in a faction.
Maybe it's us because we're not Sting people, but I don't get this helping.
It doesn't help them.
They just looked so vicious and violent and cool last week, and now this Sting's there.
It undoes some of it for me.
Correct. And I don't know why they made this choice.
Even things like when Sting made Kip Sabian and Butcher and Blade look stupid. Are they a top tier faction? No, but that doesn't do them any favors.
If Sting's one of his friends in a group of them and the numbers game is more even.
No, but it was literally just Sting and Darby taking out. Ring. Let's see. It's Swerve, Gates of Agony, Cage, and Fox. That's 5 people.
Right.
And all of them are able-bodied. One of them's muscular as hell.
Gates of Agony are killers.
One of them's a savage Samoan. And one of them's an actual prince.
Yeah.
And one of them's Swerve. So, and one of them's Air Fox.
And they look cool too.
Right.
This group is cool looking.
I think I've come around on this group partially. Like I
have. I like them.
Well, so I don't want to make it sound like I didn't like them, but I always thought like Swerve with the Embassy was a weird kind of fit. I feel like having someone like Fox in there kind of helps because that's someone Swerve's actively kind of, or like I don't know if you recruit him, but like that's someone tied to Swerve that's like actively.
It feels like it's shifted to this is Swerve's group instead of it's a group Swerve's in,
right?
Which is more important.
I feel like even when Swerve was kind of leaning before, but like when they showed up at Forbidden Door, it just feels like Swerve and like these guys that attacked on him, or like I think kind of what you're saying is like it was like the Embassy with Swerve tacked onto it, but now it does. This was the first time where it really did feel like
his group,
and also Nana being more entertaining helps me a lot too.
Yep.
But yeah, so they beat them up, and Sting pointed at the All-In logo. So great, that card's gonna have Sting now. I like most of this though. Swerve's awesome, and he's just the coolest. I don't understand, but he's just so cool. He's got that supervillain look down pat.
He does.
What he said was sweet. Fox was solid too, but it was really short. He only really had the one line. I like what Darby said too, because if we only had the explanation from last week, Darby seems kind of like the bad guy, right? Like if it's just like, you didn't call me when you got there, then Darby kind of seems in the wrong. But I like Darby giving us the full picture here because now it makes Fox's
he had to say something.
It makes Fox seem like a a heel logic kind of point of view, an understandable one, but still kind of the heel logic where it's like he's taking it out of context, kind of, right? So I like that Darby Allin's giving us the full picture. The part where Sting came in was lame because, of course, he had to make an entire heel faction look like chumps, which is always so great. And I love it even more because it's Swerve. And I just love Swerve looking stupid. That's what I love so much.
Me too.
I'm not a huge fan of the match they chose for All In, but hopefully the not Sting participants can pull something worthwhile because Swerve, Fox, and Darby are awesome, so hopefully they can salvage that for me. They booked Darby and Nick Wayne in a tag against Gates of Agony next week, which should be killer. But also, I don't get why they couldn't just put Darby and Wayne against Swerve and Fox in some sort of DQ match. Is it that hard to book them there? That makes way more sense storyline-wise than putting Sting in there because Wayne and Allen now both have a grudge against the Embassy, whereas Sting's just kind of a tag-along. If you really want Sting in there for a draw or whatever, you can have him interfere in that match and to a minimal effect, and that's fine. But I don't think we need him in a full match, and I guess, you kind of mentioned to me, they don't, maybe, it's a big spot to give Nick Wayne. I don't care. Nick Wayne's kind of sick, and that would be good for him. And I think that match would be way better. And also, the coffin match kind of telegraphs the win for me, which I like even less.
I think so, yeah.
Because when I saw the match, I was like, oh, yeah, Sting would probably win, but there's a chance, but it's a coffin match, so it kind of seals it for me. And Nana was really funny.
Yep.
You got anything else, or?
No, I talked about what I thought about it.
I forgot that you said anything. I feel like I talked a lot.
That's okay.
Next we got our main event. Main event. The last match on the show, and aka the last thing you're gonna see for this show. The last thing you get this week is Anna Jay.
I mean, they're trying to get the women main events, I guess, but I don't know why Anna Jay deserves this.
Yeah, that's what I kind of said in my notes later. Is I appreciate them putting the women in the main event in 2 weeks in a row. I have no problem with that whatsoever. When it's Storm Sheeta, great. That's a good match to have as a main event. That makes sense to me. It just needed more build, but this just doesn't make sense to me.
Yep.
How is Anna Jay main eventing? That's not the issue I have here. Women is fine. If you had Sheeta defending against someone else and you put it in the main event, that is totally fine with me. Also, now that Sheeta's champ, bring back Serena Deeb. They have history.
Well, Willow Athena main evented a pay-per-view, and it was awesome.
Right. There's no problem with that. But Anna Jay is the problem here.
Correct.
Jay, air quote, hits the Thia Doom to knock Sheeta off the apron. Brackets, I wrote what?
The Thia Doom hit the rope, and then she still fell. But anyways, it's not good.
She was holding on the ropes, and just the ropes wobbled a little too much.
Yeah.
Sheeta goes for running off the steel chair, but Angela Parker gets in the way, buys Jay time to throw her into the stairs. Jay gets Sheeta in the Queenslayer. Sheeta nearly gets the ropes. Jay pulls her back down, hooks and legs. Sheeta eventually gets the ropes. Jay goes for it again and hooks on her back. Then Sheeta climbs up the ropes and falls back to release the hold. Falconer for 2, and then the Katana knee strike gets the win. But Parker was trying to do something. It was kind of confusing. I don't know.
Oh, thank you. Because my note says, and I was getting ready to ask you, what was going on at the end of this match? Because it full on looked like breaking up the pinfall, right? But then it didn't happen.
I thought he was they said he was trying to wake her up. I don't understand.
Revive her, or it looked like it was supposed to break.
I thought
he
was trying to pull her out,
or pull. Yeah,
my thought was pull her out her hand or something.
So I wasn't sure what was going on there, but I mean, this was not a main event on paper, and I don't think it was a main event in execution.
I don't think it was ever a main event.
I again appreciate them putting the women in the main event 2 weeks in a row.
That's exactly what I said. I respect them putting the women in the event 2 weeks in a row because that feels like an improvement, right?
Yes,
and it's
but a week main event it was.
Right, because I don't want to be that guy who's like, oh, the women should be. No, that's perfectly fine with me, but
100%
I
fine.
think it's weird to put Anna Jay in there because she is not main event ready at all. Because I think it was okay, but and it's not on Sheeta, but it falls short as a main event.
It doesn't
for sure.
really establish Sheeta's reign at this
no,
point.
I think for first defense, we surely could have put someone better for her to get past. I know she just beat Nyla Rose in the build up to her facing Storm, but I would be okay with them running that back because Nyla Rose is someone at least in title orbit sometimes, right? Or I know it's Outcast, but put her against Ruby Soho. That would be something worthwhile to me, right? I have no issue with them being in the main event. I cannot state that enough, but it's more so I have an issue with Anna Jay being in the main event.
She's not ready for this.
Because you knew it was never going to be anything great, right? She's not really at that level yet. We still got bothered when our weekly women's match is her, let alone the main event this week. And this also serves as she is like kind of qualifier for All In, which bothers me more.
Yeah, I feel like that they put the title on Cheetah all of a sudden, and then maybe there wasn't a better plan in place than this.
I don't know. They could put someone better though, or just like not put in the main event. That's fine.
And I think that Anna Jay is one of those who also limits the opponent, so Sheeta's not going to look as good because she can't do as much or work as fast or whatever.
I'm worried she may end up like a Dana Brooke kind of thing, where she just won't get better.
She doesn't seem to be improving a ton at this point.
But Ty Conti was there at one point.
Yeah.
We cannot say that enough, but I don't think that's Anna Jay. Yeah. And the finish was kind of weird too. It didn't really help.
I'm not sure what was supposed to happen.
I'm not sure what Parker was trying to do or something else was supposed to happen, but it definitely seemed weird.
Yeah.
Like, not that this match really needed a big climax, but it felt kind of anticlimactic to me.
Yeah.
Anyways, a fine match. I guess not a strong main event choice by any means. And I just realized, I'm pointing out to you, which is interesting, with the Jazz starting, Anna Jay book ended Dynamite this week, which is just that's a great thing to birth into the universe.
Yeah. Overall, I don't think this was a very good in-ring show, right? Bucks, Hardys.
That
RVD Jungle Boy.
That became more clear to me when you said earlier that our first two matches were Hardys and RVD. That was when I was like, yeah, this doesn't feel like an overly strong Dynamite.
Like Blackpool Lucha was probably match of the show.
But again, even then we said that felt like kind of a random, and that's not exactly the goal there.
So really only 4 matches, and none of them were amazing.
No.
Right?
I think segments are where
like the Jazz segment to open.
Shined here.
I like that. Yeah, I like that segment to open. MJF Cole was good.
Both of the segments.
I didn't love Sting coming in and kind of ruining Swerve's group and everything.
Right, that kind of hurt that segment for me.
This show, I don't think it was awesome. I'm gonna go B- because
that's fair.
I feel like I like it more than in the moment than going over it here today. So I didn't think it was a terrible show, but yeah, lacking in the ring for sure.
Yeah,
but a B-.
I'd agree.
Solid.
Yeah, I definitely think what you said earlier, like having Hardys and RVD in the same show in 2023,
half the matches
doesn't help.
Yeah,
half the matches exactly. Yeah. Both of those matches were fine, but like only like as good as you would expect, which is not a wild compliment.
Right.
The other tag match, the Blackpool one was like pretty good, but not like amazing.
It didn't hit. It didn't
hit enough, right? Then in the main event just was not a good choice.
Yeah.
The opening segment over delivered, I thought, so that's a nice thing to say for a Jack segment. I think that was a surprising highlight of the show. I thought Cole MJF's Bro Sash was funny, and then their main in-ring segment I thought was really strong. The Mogul Embassy started off good, but then they got stung. Stanged. That's what that was, yeah. Omega interview, planned something interesting for next week. Jericho interview, planned something less interesting for next week. And that's about it. So I think a B- is fair. Definitely a drop down from Dynamite 200.
Yep.
And it gets a bit of a bump down because it didn't have tunnels. And no paint splatter either. The old graphics made me happy.
All right, well, let's move into looking at some trivia as it's approaching 12:30 in the morning here. We like to call that segment Off the Top of His Head. All right, as I finished chewing my snack you brought down here, much appreciated. I'm hungry too. So, 15 challenging WWE Attitude Era questions, just because.
That sounds AI.
It is.
Oh, good.
And there's even I don't know if I didn't notice this before, if it's new. At the bottom, there's a disclaimer that says, free research preview. ChatGPT may produce inaccurate information about people, places, or facts.
I
Hard to
had
believe.
no idea.
Be the first time.
I had no idea.
So I don't know if this answer's right because I never heard this detail before. But who coined the term Attitude Era?
I have no idea.
So their options are Vince McMahon, Jim Ross, Triple H, Stone Cold.
I'm going to go with Jim. I would assume Jim Ross.
They said Jim Ross. I even tried to fact check it and I couldn't find it.
I was going to, so
I don't know where they pulled it from.
That does sound like a Jim Ross thing.
It does.
So that is totally fair.
At which WrestleMania did Stone Cold Steve Austin defeat Shawn Michaels to win his first WWE championship?
14.
They got that right.
Wow. Nice. So we can assume they got 2 right. We'll give them the JR one.
Real name of Attitude Era star Val Venus.
Sean Morley.
Correct.
I only know that because of TNA. Yeah,
Fun fact, I worked at the high school he went to. He went to Markham District High School.
Markham.
In the I don't know, early 90s,
he's like
late
Canadian
80s.
or whatever.
Which WWE diva famously had a bra and panties match against Terry Runnels at WrestleMania 2000?
I don't think it was a bra and panties match, but it was the Cat.
That's not even an option.
It was. I remember it was Terry versus the Cat, and that was the only singles match.
So they're saying Terry Runnels versus Trish Stratus at 2000.
Definitely wasn't Trish. I think she was accompanying TNA on something. Let me double check. I'm almost positive I got it. Where's results? There it is. Okay. All right. Yeah, TNA with Trish Stratus. So she was with them. Boom, got that. Nailed it. And then it's Terry Runnels versus the Cat. Boom. 2 for 2.
The Cat. That was the King's lady friend, right?
Yeah. Or Miss Kitty or whatever it was, but she's the Cat here.
What tag team coined the phrase "Ooh Chavo" during the Attitude Era?
Los Guerreros or
not even an option.
Who?
So I'm assuming they got it wrong, and it is Los Guerreros, unless.
But they're not Attitude Era, so that wouldn't even. Unless someone else said it.
Interesting.
Is that who are they saying?
I don't think so, because it was just in the song, in their theme song, right?
Who said it?
They're saying it's Edge and Christian.
They weren't even in the same company in the Attitude Era, so
I don't know. I think it's wrong.
I would be inclined to
agree.
agree.
Then this question's ridiculous. Who did The Rock famously refer to as Candy Ass? Like
Billy Gunn?
50 different people?
Oh.
Probably. But anyways.
I was just thinking of the Billy Gunn one where he just buried him.
They said Stone Cold, so that's a dumb question.
I guess? I don't know.
Which pay-per-view event featured Hell in a Cell match between Undertaker and Mankind?
King of the Ring 98. I thought they were going to mention the one
They said SummerSlam 98.
Nope.
Who do I believe? Just kidding.
Everyone knows it's King of the Ring.
Not ChatGPT. Who interfered in the main event of WrestleMania 15, helping Stone Cold defeat The Rock, if that's even true?
He did win. I don't know. I'm going to assume they said Vince, but that's not right.
They did say Vince.
That's Mania 17.
Okay.
Because that's the one where he turns heel, and he beats the crap out of Rock with a chair.
Right.
That one.
They tried. You got to give them marks for trying.
They're
Which
close.
WWE superstar was known for... This is a good question. Which WWE superstar was known for his suck it crotch chop gesture as part of D-Generation X? Ready for your options?
DX? What is like...
Shawn Michaels, Triple H, X-Pac, or Billy Gunn?
Oh, God.
Which one of them?
Triple H.
The only one. Yeah, Triple H is correct.
Okay, so he's the only person who did that.
That's right.
They
You'll
all
never
stood there.
see anyone.
They all stood there. No, the rest of them would do like the X over their heads, and Triple H is just like chopping his crotch all day long.
He took it too far.
Yeah.
Who held the WWE Women's Championship and the WWE Hardcore Championship simultaneously during the Attitude Era?
What in the Hardcore title?
Women's Championship.
I don't think that's right, but who?
How dare you? Who do you think? Options? China, Ivory, Jacqueline, Lita.
I don't think any of them did.
China. You don't know anything.
She definitely didn't. Because I don't think that's right. Also, sorry, just looking at the...
You're wrong.
WrestleMania 2000 still. I was looking at TNA, which was Tess and Albert, was Trish Stratus. They defeat Head Cheese, which is Al Snow and Steve Blackman with, and I quote, Chester McCheeserton.
Nice. Which WWE event featured the infamous Pillman's Got a Gun segment involving Stone Cold?
Which event?
Sorry?
Which event?
Yeah.
Probably one of the In Your Houses. I don't know.
It was.
I don't know which one it was.
Options? Mind Games, Canadian Stampede, or Bad Blood?
I think it was Mind Games.
They said Bad Blood, but...
Bad Blood? I
couldn't guarantee it.
I don't think so, but...
Who is the special guest referee for the I Quit match between
Games.
The Rock and Mankind at Royal Rumble 1999?
Was there even one?
They say so.
I have no idea.
Vince, Shane, Triple H, Stone Cold.
I go Shane.
They say Vince. But I feel like if
okay,
you had no idea, maybe that didn't happen.
Royal Rumble 99. Yeah, the year and event is at least right.
Which wrestler popularized the stink face?
Rikishi.
Correct.
Or the Sultan.
Yeah. At which WrestleMania did Stone Cold?
There's no mention of a ref, and no, but that's the one where Vince won the Rumble, so that can't be right.
Which WrestleMania did Stone Cold Steve Austin face The Rock in a no DQ match for the WWE Championship?
Rock and Austin?
Yeah.
No DQ one was X7.
Correct.
Yeah.
Last one.
I don't know if the I don't know if the 15 one was as well, but I don't think it was.
Which WWE superstar infamously crucified his opponent on a T-shaped cross during a storyline in the Attitude Era?
Taker?
No.
Taker's the only one who did that, unless they're talking about ECW.
Did he the one that crucified his opponent?
Probably.
Yeah. So they're saying Undertaker, Sting, Raven, or Shawn Michaels?
Raven, did it.
Raven,
so.
correct.
Okay, so they're not talking WWE then. That's fair.
Well, they said which WWE superstar.
Oh, so then they're wrong.
Right. That makes sense. But anyways, we tried. They had some things right and some things wrong. But we'll get into what will be our last segment this week, right? Where we talk about what we liked and didn't like from the week of wrestling other than Dynamite. And we call that segment Highspots and Restholds. All right, we'll start on Monday. That's Raw. That's you. What was good or bad?
Where to start? Okay. First one I'll start with is high spot. They're all high spots, which I know is surprising.
Wow. And multiple.
Gable won the IC title 4-way, or title shot, so he's got next at Gunther. He beat Ciampa, Ricochet, and Riddle. They did a German suplex Tower of Doom spot that was kind of cool. Beat Ciampa with Chaos Theory. It's good for him. It's a shame he probably won't win, but him versus Gunther would be epic if given the right amount of time. They had a TV match the other week, but it was like 6 minutes or something, I heard. So
good for Gable, man.
Kind of annoyed, but that's I really
him and Walter could be
won
really
that
good
in front of his son too, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, I'm happy for him. That was really cool.
I think I heard his son was in matching gear.
Something like that, yeah. It was kind of like a Josh Alexander.
I was just going to say Alexander's done that too.
Another high spot, Nakamura beat Big Bronson Reed. Then he also competed in the main event as Sammy's replacement. More on that later. Good TV time for him, so that's kind of cool. But the real high spot is him turning heel on Rollins after the main event with a Kinshasa, which is... Like, I'm kind of worried what they'll do with him, but it seems like he'll get a world title feud out of it, which is great, even if he loses that, because he hasn't been in the world title picture since the testicle-destroying feud with AJ Styles in 2018, where they just kicked each other in the balls
junk,
so many times. And, like, one of the matches didn't count out, then a no DQ match ended in a double, like, a no contest because they kicked each other in the balls at the same time, and then a last man standing match. So that's good for him.
That's good. That is good.
That will yield some results for him. I just fear a bit because last time they turned him heel, he didn't win the title match. Then there was the aforementioned double count. Then the no contest at Backlash. Then he lost last man standing match. Then he won the U.S. title, did nothing with it. Lost it to Rusev, won it back, did nothing with it. Lost it to R-Truth, which, what the hell? Then he won the Intercontinental title on a pre-show, did nothing with it. Lost it to Braun Strowman, who then lost it to Sami Zayn in a handicap match with him in it. And then he won the SmackDown Tag Titles with Cesaro at the horror show at Extreme Rules, which, do you remember that?
Nope.
I don't think so.
And I feel like Nakamura sometimes, if he's not motivated, his in-ring stuff isn't quite as good. So I hope that he gets some attention because he's cool. So
I hope they give him something to do. It's just I don't fully trust them.
Nope.
Then the final high spot is JD McDonough. Hooray! He finally had some more involvement in Raw aside from kicking Dolph Ziggler's ass. He was involved in a backstage thing with Balor and Priest, and he kind of piped in on their whole thing, saying he thinks the Money in the Bank case has come between them and they should get rid of it.
There were rumors he was joining that group.
I like that he's kind of at least has some role in that.
Yep.
And if he joins them, good for him. If not, hopefully he does something else noteworthy.
Rebounding from being
then
disrespected
exactly.
at SummerSlam.
Oh, that was so horrible. And then later on, he beat up Sami Zayn backstage, so he's out of the main event. I wonder if he actually had something wrong with his elbow, because they showed a close-up. It looked like Kyle O'Reilly's. But yeah, that's it. And then I have one Resthold from SmackDown, which is
coming up.
The thing I told you about.
Right.
Kind of.
Oh, yeah. So NXT is next on Tuesday, and Rey Mysterio is making an appearance on the show this week.
He'll come back up.
It's what?
He'll come up.
Yep. And he wants Dragon Lee basically to defeat Dom for the North American title. And that was like the first segment. They're in a car together to start the show, I think it was. Anyways, high spot for me was the opening match, which was Axiom Mustafa Ali. So this was about what you would expect from these two. And that's a good thing for sure. Right out of the gate, pretty much. We're a couple minutes in, and Booker is speaking gibberish. And Vic Joseph actually calls him out on it. It's like, now you're just saying words or something, basically. But anyways,
I'm sure he took it well.
Lots of action in the match to distract from Booker's nonsense. We get a head scissor off the apron by Axiom, sends Ali onto the announce table. You have Scripps show up in this and distract Axiom for a near fall. I actually thought that was where it was going to end. I was like, really? This is so cheap, but it didn't happen there. We get a Northern Lights and a standing moonsault by Axiom for 2. Mustafa Ali with a buckshot lariat, but out of the corner for a near fall. And then we have Nima and Price come out to join Scripps, kind of standing there looking menacing. We get an Ali springboard attempt countered into a nice sliding German from Axiom. And then the heels just kind of leave that were there on the ramp are just gone.
They didn't want to watch anymore.
Nope. Ali hits a jackhammer. Axiom hits a destroyer. Ali rolls out to the floor. Axiom moonsaults to the floor. The crowd is now chanting that this is awesome, and I kind of agree with them. We got a satellite DDT from Axiom that always looks really good for a near fall. And then Ali, we were just talking about this trope, goes after Axiom's mask before shoving him to the floor back in the ring. Ali hits his 450, and it's over. And only about 10 minutes, but a really good action-packed 10-minute match. Probably the match of the night for me. And Ali is still doing some like subtle heel stuff here. And I'm not sure why Scripps and his people came out to do nothing, but I guess it's just to remind us that they're still tangled up with Axiom, unfortunately. But a good start to the episode. I also like the Creeds at first here. They were sort of woven into the show several times because Schism, because they are hunting the Creeds right now. So Gacy, the first time we see them and his group, have taken a bunch of people out backstage. One of them's Ikemenjiro, who's back. And they're just basically going to continue. Well, he was one of the unmasked.
Oh,
Creeds,
right. No, yeah.
Or whatever, dyad people, schism people. So they're going to just keep confronting people and taking people out until they find the Creeds. And I just thought it was nice to see the Creeds actually doing something rather than speaking. But they would show up more and more throughout the show on quick segments. They would take out Smash Mouth later. Do you know who Smash Mouth is? They just coined the name this week.
Smash Mouth? That's the band?
But they're now a tag team.
Who?
In NXT.
Is it Nima and...
No.
Ah, damn it.
No. It's, oh my God, I can't remember their names right now, so it's not going to help you. Young guys. Tank.
Oh,
McGee
damn.
and the other...
Tank Ledger.
Right.
And Hank guy.
Tank and Hank.
That's why.
They were joking about it, so I don't know if it's going to stick or not. And then they later interrupted Tony D and Stax having a photo shoot demanding to know where the Creeds were. And the Dyads sort of then hint that they're going to come after the tag belt. So Gacy tells them to refocus and find the Creeds.
I mean, if they stop Dyading, then I would be okay with
But I'm hoping that's sort of another sort of splintering here because they're like, we want belts. And Gacy's like, worry about what I'm worried about kind of thing.
Okay, I like that.
Yep. So it was okay. Resthold, Kalani Jordan, again, this seems to be weekly now. She's challenging Blair Davenport through a really short Instagram post, but she didn't sound great. I don't think it was terrible, and they're trying to do new things, so that's fine. They're just trying to get Kalani Jordan experience, and that's what NXT is for. At least they're only doing it for a couple people at a time instead of like half the show isn't people that don't belong on TV yet. 4-minute match immediately followed. It wasn't great either. Really basic reversals from Kalani Jordan early on. Sloppy head scissor, weak backslide. Davenport looked okay, probably limited by her opponent a little bit too. One with her knee strike, Kamagoya thing. Dana Brooke is just incensed after the match and chases Davenport away with the belt.
That was weird.
And in the process almost hits Jordan. Like, are we teasing a split already? But it's just like Dana Brooke is now like an extreme, like hardcore icon or something. Anyways.
That's what I thought it was, and it irked me.
It just feels like Kalani Jordan is the newcomer that we have to endure on NXT right now. Who's not ready to be
Cora Jade kind of thing.
It's funny you say that. I have like early Cora Jade, Sol Ruka, Zion Quinn, that Quincy guy, right? Like just people that aren't ready, that they're just seem to be getting them experience here and there.
I saw that thing that you talked about the other week where Cora Jade was like leaving the locker room.
Oh yeah,
that was really bad.
It was really bad.
Ugh.
So these two actually, Dana Brooke's back later, ranting about her killer instinct, and Jordan is still looking for her killer instinct.
Just have a kendo stick match.
Dana Brooke's going to show Jordan what that looks like next week when she takes on Davenport.
Oh, God.
And this new side of Dana Brooke is not working. And I almost feel, I don't know if it's intentionally being bad, but it's bad. I did like Noam Dar.
I don't think they're that smart.
And Tyler Bate for the fake Heritage Cup.
The real
Heritage Cup. That metaphor made for Noam Dar to replace the one he lost. And
I'd like to know who their people are if they're making a cup match.
And I want to know, kayfabe, how does NXT like justify honoring this match as a cup match? Right?
I guess it's the same as why is Collision having a Punk title match?
I guess. Vic actually points it out that someone sanctions this.
And Booker T ignores
right?
it.
So, first round's the usual feeling out, right? Round 2 ends after
Heritage Rules, I forgot.
Right. After only 40 seconds when Bate hits a Tyler driver and he's up 1-0 after just a bit of the second round. Almost all around 3, but 25 seconds is gone due to a commercial. And I don't get picture-in-picture on NXT, but Bate has tweaked his knee when we come back, and a double cover is saved by the bell to end the round. Dar with a vicious back elbow looks so much better than Jericho's Judas effect. Him and Andrade do it so much better than Jericho.
Sure, someone else did a good one too. I don't remember.
So that's a near fall in round 4. He's then targeting Bate's leg with knee bars until Bate finally taps out to give Dar the second fall. Dar refuses to release the knee bar for quite a while, even though it's supposed to end the round. Dar keeps control for the start of round 5 until a rolling kick from Bate. Bate fights over another knee bar, hits a German before knocking Mensah off the apron. Dueling near falls near the end of round 5, and Bate catches Dar with a roll up to win the match and take the second cup. Me too. So Dar loses his second cup. So I was surprised.
I guess like Bate would have more of a claim to the cup than Fraser.
And we get a little clarification on where they're going from here later in this episode, and I'm not sure. I don't even know if I put it in, so I'll say it here. That basically Dar's willing. No, wait. Bate's willing to give up his cup
because it's not actually real. Right. If Dar admits that, and then he gets to face
Fraser for the real one.
Yeah, it'll be a cup unification. And if the
winner got the next one,
if the winner raises both cups, that would just make my day.
Yeah,
so funny.
I like this match. Metaphor stayed out of it for the most part. I thought it'd be funny if Metaphor just keep creating cups and he keeps losing them, and there's like 20 of them floating around.
Yeah, why didn't Mensah just take his place again?
I did include it here. So Bate, Fraser, and the Metaphor have an entertaining segment backstage later. So Bate gives Dar the fake cup. Fraser agrees to a unifying match at Heatwave, so I did make note of it. Resthold, Dijak speaks. He's so frustrating because he's so good in the ring, but he approaches Mello backstage. Wesley interrupts them. Dijak tells Lee that he's no longer in any title picture, and Hayes has sort of walked out here. Lee and Dijak exchange words.
Like they were mentioning Hayes like he's kind of there, but I didn't. It was just like on them.
And then Dijak pretends to leave and then sneak attacks Wesley, and he just sounds so bad. He's just hard to believe in any segment. It's his delivery and the words. Sometimes I'm just like, it's what they write for them, and the delivery's good. No, his delivery's not good. But he and Lee could have a good match, I guess. I didn't love the in-ring interaction between Trick and Dragunov. I don't think it was bad, but I was hoping for better between the two of them. Basically, Dragunov still blaming Trick for Dragunov not being champion. It was pretty long. I didn't really love it. And there was kind of a buzz in the crowd, like people weren't really paying attention and having their own conversations or something. I don't think either guy did a bad job, just a little more generic. And I don't know, maybe just because I don't really think Trick has a chance here, but you never know, I guess. I liked Ray's interactions with a couple young talent backstage. He talked to Roxanne first and then Thea Hale. And Thea's kind of doing like the old school Bailey thing where she's super nervous and excited to talk to Rey Mysterio. Ray compliments her heart, believes she'll be champion, but that she needs to be patient. And she asks Ray if he still loves Dom. And it's sort of like a tie-in, I think, for her feelings about Chase, right? Like, even though your son does stuff you don't like, do you still love him? Like, even though Chase did stuff I don't like, whatever. Chase comes in. Hale says Ray wouldn't have thrown in the towel. And I like this. It's good to have Ray interacting with the young, undersized talent, right? Kind of giving them advice. And then working in discussion at Dom and Judgment Day. Hale wasn't her usual full of energy, but she was not as mopey as last week either. Somewhere in between. I thought Vaughn and Braun had a decent, fairly short powerhouse matchup. Vaughn is a lot bigger than Braun Breaker. We find how tall Braun Breaker is, because Vaughn looks significantly larger than him. So Vaughn was in control early. Braun ended up winning with a spear. After the match, Braun puts his
1.83 meters.
So like 6 feet.
Yeah, as you say so. I don't do conversions.
Braun put his hands on Stone after the match. Wagner lands a high knee. That sends Braun to the floor. Wagner follows him about, and it hits a very satisfying powerbomb through the table. because I guess Vic Joseph has like a candy jar on the announce table, and his candy went flying all over the place. It looked really good.
He's not exactly his birthday, but he's 10 years older than me.
So Vaughn didn't win, but he got the table spot in on Braun Breaker, which is what everyone wanted anyways. So I think that he got something. The match was okay. It was like 5-6 minutes or whatever. Eddie Thorpe vignette. So they're trying to tap into his indigenous, like he's Native American, right? But it came across really cheesy to me. It was like the stars are animated and turning into like his spirit animal that's a wolf. I think there's a way to do this, but I don't think they did it in a way that works for me anyways. I'd like Lyra Valkyria. She's trying to expose Rhea a little bit. It's backstage, and Lyra accuses Rhea of being a manipulator and a user, like really looking over at Dom. Like she manipulates and uses people, basically, right? Rhea says that Dom doesn't need her and that he'll be the greatest North American champion regardless. And so Lyra challenges Rhea to prove that by not helping him in his match tonight with Dragon Lee. And I thought Lyra sounded good. Also like that she seems to be leaning away from the bird character stuff in some of these segments, which is good. I didn't really enjoy Gulak and Dempsey taking on Briggs, kind of returning, I guess, Briggs and Jensen. Could have been interesting because the contrast of styles, right? You have brawlers and technicians, but it never really got going. There was time spent on Gulak sending their young boy, I forget his name. You remember. That kid that you said is really boring. Yes.
He sucks.
So really early, Gulak's on the apron asking him for water, and he's like, I don't have water. So then he got sent away. And then commentary were focused on other things and not really talking about this match. So I thought it was pretty basic. Didn't get much reaction from the crowd. Damon Kemp ran down, suplexed Jensen on the floor, and then threw him back in the ring for Dempsey to pin with the bridge. So the heels won there. Kiana James, Ivy Nile wasn't very good. James had an inset promo on her way to the ring. Like, you tried to expose my wild side. Oh, yeah, because you, like, had a drink once or were at a party or whatever.
You had fun.
You had fun, business lady. But she knows how to control it and use it, and she sounded really bad.
Is she still feuding with Dolan, or is that over?
I think that was over because
good.
Who did Dolan face last week? Valkyria, I think, wasn't it? Oh, no, that was Jane. Yeah, I don't know. Who knows?
The suckier one.
So Kiana seems more aggressive, but I don't think she looked great. Niall absolutely missed a head kick. The crowd was quiet. Commercial break in the middle doesn't help when it's not long. And then you come back from commercial, and Schism has surrounded the ring. And the four roots, one tree is now. Like, there was enough of them to completely surround the ring and, like, smack on the ring and, like, rhythmically pound the apron.
Oh, it's Underground again, your favorite.
It did look like that, actually. So Niall's in control. Schism distractor. James picks up the win with, like, instead of doing the float over flatliner she was doing, the 401k, now she's doing, like, a single leg code breaker kind of deal, or, like,
recoil.
Or, like, an eat defeat with the shin instead of the foot, kind of. Anyways.
Gotcha.
Conveniently, Schism have several women in the group this week after never having that before. And they surround Ivy Nile, right? And until Tony and Stax come out to make the save. Because
more than 4 roots, very different roots.
All women roots.
One tree.
Yeah, it's interesting. So this was
ever-changing
cheesy,
roots.
but it kind of worked for me. Did you see it? It was Carrillo and Garza, so they are having problems within their tag team.
I was there when you were watching that. I just wasn't paying attention.
It was them texting back and forth with like a sad soundtrack underneath and no talking, just reading their texts. It quickly turns to like, what would their grandfather think of them and blah, blah, blah. And it sounds like they're going to give it another chance for Grandpa, basically. But I thought it worked. I don't know. It was definitely cheesy.
It was interesting from what I saw, but I honestly don't remember.
It was just them trying to do something different, and I appreciate it. And I do want this team to stay together, so I thought it was cool. You saw this. It was Tiffany Stratton, just a quick interview with Mackenzie. Stratton just being in character and dodging questions about her next opponent, right?
I thought that was kind of funny.
Talks about her new clothes and what colors she should wear and stuff like
that kind of dilemma.
She just seems really comfortable in this role, right? And I even think there's room for her to be a babyface and not change a ton. She can just be less mean to people.
Maybe.
I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, and it's perfect because the whole Barbie thing right now, right? She fits in perfectly with that.
Really good timing.
The main event I thought was actually pretty decent. It's Dominic Mysterio taking on Dragon Lee. Dom is definitely slow and inexperienced. Dragon Lee's really fast and awesome.
Probably experienced.
So you got a nice suicide dive and a power bomb by Dragon Lee. At one point, Rhea hands Dom a belt. Ray takes it away. Dom hits a Michinoku driver, and it's over. Lyra comes out to take out Rhea Ripley as she and Dom get in Ray's face after the match. So I thought the match was decent. I don't think it was a great main event, but it wasn't bad either. Impact. I want to go fast. I'm getting tired. Strong opening tag match in the semifinals for the tournament #1 contender with Swan and Callahan.
You mean the opening round?
Yeah. Swan and... Oh, my God. My thing just scrolled through. It was Swan and Callahan defeating ABC after Hotch
Bullet Club's ABC.
Correct. Hotch and Skylar interfered and cost Austin and Bay the match, with Sammy hitting a cactus driver for the win. Really good action throughout the match. It got a lot of time to start the show. Finish was sudden. I guess it protects ABC a little bit, right? Because it was a dirty loss for them. Allows Swan and Callahan to advance, so they will take on the Rascals in the finals. Resthold, the Death Dolls, more nonsense. But there, it leads to a 4-way match at the Knockouts tag titles. So the Death Dolls were doing their side huddle thing they did last week, and this time they were side huddling what they were going to tell Santino to get included in the match. And Santino joined the side huddle with them, and they didn't even notice. And he gave them advice on what to say. Isn't that funny, Jack?
That is. I'm chuckling on the inside.
Right. So they did that, and then Masha.
I'm laughing internally.
Because I think it was the Coven one in the match too. So Masha and Kelly walk in and say,
"Did they do the side huddle too?"
No, they just like, we'll fight all of them. We don't care. So I think it's a 4-way. I don't know. Forget who the fourth is already.
I just saw the graphics.
Death Dolls, Coven, Masha and Kelly, and is it? No, it's not Perazzo and.
No, because they're having their rematch.
Who's
I
the
just
fourth
saw
team?
it. So hold on.
Anyways, Resthold design.
Damn it!
Design vignette with more of the same, and now the focus is like on Khan, the last loyal member. So great, we're focusing on Khan now. That's terrible. Just stop.
Oh, it's Sean Evans.
Oh, right, that's right. I didn't love Jody Threat. Alicia, not a lot of interest. Alicia was in control in the middle portion. She did her stuff. Threat won with what she now calls the pop shove it. It's not the F416 and 416 anymore.
Well, what's her finish?
F5 Threat.
Pop shove it.
So anyway, she hit it to a distracted Alicia after Eddie tripped Threat. Kaz ran down. Then after the match, Kaz goes to swing violently to hit Eddie Edwards with the kendo stick and hits Alicia, and Eddie has to carry her away. Awesome match. Maybe my favorite match this week, Mike Bailey Kushida. Got a ton of time. I don't know how much it got. It was long. So many cool counters, and just like one guy anticipating what the other guy was going to do and having something ready. Really fast, crisp offense for both. And a sick-looking package driver from Kushida to get the win. That's a cool move. Because it's a driver, but then you're right into a tight, small package. It looked really good. I knew
Rollins used to do that.
I knew Kushida would win because he's the #1 contender for the X Division Championship, but the match was fantastic. Again, probably the best match I watched this week. Then I told you that there's a part 1 of a 3-part sit-down interview with Tom Hannafan, who's really good, by the way, and Crazy Steve.
Who's blind, by the way.
Yeah, and the story is Steve requested this, and he talks about all his old gimmicks and all the old factions he's been in and how he's been abandoned by everybody. And he says, I get that Rosemary's doing something else and that, what's her real name? Courtney, whatever, is in charge now. And he's like, even Tarus is in a match tonight and I'm not around, so I get it. And they're doing their own thing. And then he gets into like, it's just constant roadblocks and he's used to that. And then what we've always known, and he even says like some people know, but not a lot of wrestling fans, this man is legally blind. So he was even just talking about like a lot of this job is traveling all over the country. And he's like, I can't drive myself anywhere. I struggle to navigate airports.
How does he do that? I don't understand then.
And so
he was always with someone then, but like that doesn't answer how he wrestles.
And this is true, right? He is legally blind. And this man, like, so I thought this was fantastic because A, I love realistic stuff, and B, this is really interesting realistic stuff.
And it's good for people who don't know because it's still mind-blowing.
It's pretty capped, and you can tell when you watch him in this interview, the way his eyes and stuff move, that he is in fact a blind man, right? Yeah. So his story's really interesting. They've taken forever to tell it. Maybe he hasn't wanted to tell it, and he's comfortable now, and it ends just with like, they bring up his family, and it's about, he basically implies that that's a major barrier too in a tough situation. And
that's the next.
And that's what part 2 will be. So I thought this was awesome. Then I really liked the backstage thing with Joe Hendry and Yuya Uemura as well, because it was 2 random fans and they said, I don't know. They summon Joe Henry with whatever they say, right? And so
they say his name.
Yuya's been sort of hanging around Joe Henry and annoying him a bit, like getting in a match for the title and everything with him. But anyways, so Yuya is then summoned after Henry, and Henry's sort of annoyed by it. And Yuya only says the word champion, and then Henry gets mad and thinks that Yuya's mocking him for not being champion. So he goes on a little rant, and then all Yuya says is champions with an S. And then Henry starts to it's funny because that's all he said. And Henry's like, well, no, how crazy for you to consider us forming a tag team. Although we have won every match that we've, and then so even that one word, Henry ends up talking himself into forming a team with Yuya and going after tag titles. And I do need a new direction to go, sort of thing. So I thought it was entertaining. Resthold, the main event, got my hopes up for the debut of Samurai Del Sol, and then bait and switched me and replaced him with the returning PCO. So I'm all excited. Samurai Del Sol's making his Impact debut in this match. It was supposed to be Taurus, Laredo Kid, Del Sol against Moose, Brian Myers, and Bully Ray. But he got Del Sol taken out by Lio Rush backstage. So the assumption is the baby faces, the small baby faces, now fight a man down. And then this guy makes a heroic recovery and comes back and debuts and does
not
great.
At all.
Not at all. Doesn't even
the
get
opposite,
seen.
I would argue.
We get PCO comes out. So the match itself was okay. There were two much better matches on the show, and I was just disappointed getting PCO and not Del Sol. And that's it for me. So you have some.
I have one thing from SmackDown,
and it was amazing. Yep.
Okay, so to set the stage here. A few weeks ago, there was the finals for the U.S. Invitational thingy, right? So, to clarify, there was the 2 4-ways, one of which was won by Santos Escobar, one of which was won by Rey Mysterio. So the finals was Santos Escobar, Rey Mysterio, LWO match, whatever, that's fine. So, Santos Escobar wins the whole shebang by beating Rey Mysterio. So let's just, to recap, Santos Escobar has won this little weird tournament thing to earn a title shot, right?
Right.
So that's where we're at right now. And they didn't put the title match on SummerSlam and said they were both in the Battle Royal.
Right.
And then now they're putting the title match on SmackDown tonight.
Which Santos won.
No.
I picked him, though. He must have won.
No.
Oh.
Not even a little.
Sorry.
Theory attacks Escobar twice, once backstage, once during Escobar's entrance for the title match. So then Pierce makes him defend the title against Rey Mysterio instead. Real stupid considering Santos beat Rey to earn the title shot. And it's not like Rey hasn't had the U.S. title twice already, or a bunch of other ones already.
You're not supposed to remember all that.
Meanwhile, Escobar's had, 0.
Right.
Wait, 1. Never mind, Cruiserweight title. I knew I was forgetting something. 0 on the main roster. Boom. At the time of me typing this, I don't know anything further. But based on previous events, I feel like somehow Theory will lose. What do you think will happen?
Theory will lose?
Theory loses. Holy crap, I was right. Wow, another mess up with Theory, and it's again related to the U.S. title. Lame. Double wrestled now. Can we do that? Don't know. It's already done. So this is made dumber by the fact that Escobar beat Theory, I think it was last week, in a non-title match after he had the title shot already. So now I'm even more confused. So this is incredibly stupid. I don't know why Rey Mysterio needs the U.S. title, and it just makes Theory look dumb. Like, I know they haven't done a great job of doing this reign, but like, at least give it to Escobar or LA Knight or someone who can do something with, like, Rey Mysterio makes no sense unless you do some LWO thing, but who cares? And all I'm going to say is they're really lucky they have the Money in the Bank fiasco from last year, as I'll dub it the 2022 Money in the Bank fiasco from last year. Otherwise, this would be the worst thing that happened to Theory, and I feel bad for Escobar too, because this does him no service. And now he's supposed to be happy about Rey winning it, because LWO is all happy and Lucha Libre. But yeah, this was stupid. I was already annoyed because you knew where I was going to go, and then they did the thing I thought they would do, and it was stupid.
Made it worse.
Absolutely.
Well, I think that's wrapping up episode 160.
Yep.
There's no pay-per-views or anything this weekend?
No, I think we're cruising till All In.
Nice. So we will be back for episode 161 a week from, whenever you're listening to this, a week from the 13th? Nope, 12th, because it's my anniversary officially right now. It's 1:09 a.m. on the 12th. Happy anniversary to me. Hope the rest of you have a great week. We'll see you back here for 161. Until then, everybody, take care.